Fire it up, footballers. Fire it up, footballers. Welcome to the show here on Spit and Fire. Greatly appreciate you guys hanging out. We're going to be talking about the Civil War, maybe a little World War II history before we, or after we get into it, about MLS, the MLS standings. We'll talk about how the Chicago Fire are doing, and maybe a little bit more light on the Berhalter Arena exchange as we look back at week 4 MLS and what else was going on in the sports world, including NCAA tournaments, which is going to resume, of course, tomorrow, Thursday. We're shooting this live Wednesday. Thank you for joining us live or after the fact. What's up, everybody? What's up? Let's start off with a couple of quarters and hit up the arcade here before we dip over to some new content on Fortnite. Perhaps DPG or FCNeoToyko will join us, or what have you. We shall find out as the stream progresses. It looks like sound is working. Unlike last stream, first couple minutes was not working, but luckily people in the chat were like, hey, your sound's not working. Try it out. Might want to do, as you can see, I'm running in without any weapons. Let's go for it. Risky. No.
Howdy.
Howdy. You want to be friends? That's crazy.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, let's team up. Let's go.
I'm good.
I do not have a good weapon. That's up. We got to get him. Get him.
Don't get me.
No getting?
No getting.
We good? We're good?
No getting.
Okay,
No
we're good.
getting.
We calm down. It's like the
I'm
Old
down,
West.
Brown. No
All right,
getting,
boys.
please.
What's the plan?
We fucking smash all geeks in the way.
Let's do it. Who's leading? Lead the way.
I'll lead with my 30 health.
Founder.
Let's go. Upgrade. All right, cool. I'm ready. Let's roll. Where to? Are you ready? Where'd you go upstairs?
He went to the right.
All right. Let's go. What's up? Where to?
I'm on the hill.
Nice. Oh, heads up. Where's that come from? Oh, I'm gonna heal. Healing. All right, heal.
I can take you in warm, or I can take you in cold. Cold? Oh, cold, yeah, boy.
We lost our brother.
Uh-oh, sounds like it.
Where'd you go?
I have no idea.
Right.
Oh, you
Shots.
Damn it. My fucking shitty pistol. GG's. We'll be back. We'll be back. Let's go. All right, I already got a better pistol than I had. That was awesome. Teaming up with those guys. That was so crazy. Me and the one guy, we couldn't shoot each other, and then we're like, let's team up. that was great. What's up, Angus? What's up, Alien? Hey. Playing a little Dr. Disrespect's new game, Deadrop. Available to get for like 25 bucks if you want to play us. But basically, You get 1 life, and then you die. You get to come back 2 more times. You can try and reclaim your stuff. Let's go. Sorry, Brad, man. Hello? Can we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Alright, where do we gotta go? I think we gotta go up. Hey, Angus, what's up? Glad to see you, man. Dude, St. Louis freaking rolling. That's gotta be feeling good for you. You gotta be freaking loving that. It's like some special sauce that's been going on over there. Alien lurking in the background. Appreciate you stopping by. Playing a little Deadrop before we switch over to Fortnite. But man, Deadrop is, maybe we just keep playing Deadrop. We'll see. We gotta go. No. I think we gotta go. Oh, Angus, I love it. We can go. Hello. Gotta go up. Might run into Rant. Hello. Hello. How you doing? Jack. Well, it is in the name. I gotta get up. Run. X. If I could climb faster. What's up, James? What's up, everybody? What's up, chat? Playing Dr. Disrespect's Deadrop game. It's available for everybody to get right now if you guys wanted to play, but it costs like 25 bucks. I think it's on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. It's sick. It's just brand new. It's an alpha beta stage they're testing, but we're getting better all the time. It's freaking sick. Good to see y'all. Hello. Pistol? They do. Gotta run. Going up high. That. Stop. Hello. Howdy. And none of those work. Looks like a great game. I mean, this is just the start of it. We're just testing. It's kind of crazy where it's at. It's nowhere near where Fortnite's at, but this game is only 8 months old. Fortnite's actually like, what, 4 years? Very excited to dip into some Fortnite here. Go up. Here. Ooh, it's gonna get gnarly. I only have 1 life left. Which I can offer. Good shit, Goober.
Oh, thanks, bro.
Cheers. Could go in there with like a load of stuff. But I mean, for 25 bucks to play this game, it's awesome. So I am one of there's variants. There's people with these masks that you see have a special mask. There's only 10,000 of us who are the variants, and in the game you can collect like our something that says like, oh, you collected like a death, like it's like a dog tag from Escape from Tarkov, but doesn't really provide anything of value to you. What's better in this game is what's so wild is that you could team up. I teamed up with two random guys there at the beginning. In the beginning of this video, it was nuts. Where is Neo? I don't know. Neo might be busy. He's been busy all week. I've been in contact with him. I think things are okay. But he should be either streaming back on Friday or he might make a pop on by today. But what's up, DBG? Good to hear from you, brother.
Sorry.
All right, go. Sorry guys, no voice chat for me tonight. VG, download Fortnite and play on Friday. It'd be so sick. Hello. I smell friends. What's up? What's up? Hello. Hello. Hey there, friend. Howdy. Comic book. Interesting. I can smell you. Where you hiding? Hey, open up in there. No, you can't do that. You are not given permission. Oh, you want to be above. You want to take the high road. Holy shit! Jesus. Jesus Christ.
What the fuck? What gun is that? Tell me the name of the gun.
Shotgun.
Just the shotgun. That's
Auto
it.
shot.
That's... Oh. Yeah. Bye.
Bye bye. Hey. Hey. Bye. Hello. Well, that chopper's gone quick, real quick. Going up. Ooh, I can carry more shit. Hello.
Yo.
Yo!
Hey, what's going on?
I'm playing a proximity check game.
Oh.
And to
Sorry.
India and to Panda.
No.
No, he's blending in.
No, I'm a...
So, what do you think of the fire on Saturday?
Dude. That was sad. Especially when I walked away thinking that they had won. Because I turned off that game thinking, it's over.
So funny story about that. Over the week, you probably might have noticed me get into like harsh criticism of Ezra.
Oh geez, yeah. And you've been fairly, you've held it back. I feel like. I mean, like if they don't watch the show, they don't know how you've how you've defended Ezra in the past.
Exactly. So like one thing I think it's funny because one thing I brought up was MLS tends to hold its garbage a little bit longer, meaning that they tend to hold on to crappy managers longer than, for example, like the Premier League or any of the European leagues, right? And someone actually took it personal and said, "He's not garbage. He's a human being." And I'm like, I meant that in general, pal. Meant that in general. Don't get sensitive. Calm down. Like, don't tell me to calm down. So yeah, so he got overly sensitive about that, and I thought it was funny. I don't think the guy even.
Sorry, DPG. If I say hello, I'm gonna be I'm in a prox chat game with people trying to kill me and talk to me. So if I say confusing things, don't mind me.
Oh yeah. So basically that. And I know some people in the chat were pissed off because of the sarcastic way I responded to that guy, because he was getting overly emotional and, sensitive, because he thought I called Ezra a garbage, when in fact I meant that he's a garbage manager. So, yeah. I guess I made a couple of new friends on that server.
I actually just recently discovered that.
Yeah. So, and it's funny because like Neil's there. Neil tends to side with them. He gets, he tries to jump on their side. Like, hey DPG, you're wrong. I don't agree with that. You know how Neil is trying to take the supposedly high road or high moral compass road or whatever you call it. But yeah, like I said before, I mean, I've defended Ezra in the past. I gave him the benefit of the doubt, but honestly, if you can't manage a team to finish out a result, then, and it's happened more than once. It happened like 4 or 5 times already. At that point, you're not really a good manager.
We only played 3 games, DPG. But
But
here's I saw him say this the other day. It's like we would have been undefeated. I'm like,
Yeah, when-
you guys would have still been in last place.
it's like it doesn't matter if you're gonna be undefeated or not. Nobody cares what ifs. Everybody cares about results. It cares about results. This game is a win business. You have to win. Like, people were saying, oh no, but the Fire played good, blah blah blah. No one is gonna remember that. At the end of the season, when the Fire are in last place or don't make the playoffs, nobody's gonna say, wow, you know, the Fire played really good. Because if in general, if they played really good, they will be in the playoffs. They will be competitive, but they're not. And I think a big part of that has to do with the manager. I think a lot of it has to fall on Ezra. He can't discipline his guys. It's been an issue since last season. You know, this is nothing new. This is not like, oh yeah, it's the first time it's happened. So no, it's not. How many games have we dropped last season where we were winning? It was quite a few.
And it comes back to I put out a poll the other day on the Twitters, and I thought I got a pretty good response, and it turned back an interesting set of results. It was, who is doing the best job at Chicago Fire of the three options? Owner Joe Mansueto, GM Georg Heitz, Coach Ezra Hendrickson, and of the three options, the best job winner went to Joe Mansueto, 67%. Heitz got 8% of the vote, and Hendrickson got 24%. So Heitz received the least amount of confidence.
Yeah, who's gonna believe that guy? I mean, and even Ezra, like, let's be honest here. I mean, he's not a good coach.
Well, who would you pick of the three is doing the best job if you had to choose?
I would say, if I had to pick, I would say Mansueto's probably done a better job because he's been putting money where his mouth is. I mean, he's been paying pretty high price tags on some of these players, a lot more than Andy did when he used to own the team. And FCNeoToyko saying Ezra needs to go now, but not before Heights. And to be honest, he hasn't really had a chance. Honestly, you know what? First, one thing you have to realize is that, you know, it's not like the Fire went after Ezra to get this job. Ezra applied for it. They interviewed him. They liked him. He took the job. You know, you should have a good idea what are you walking into when you apply for a job. No, you wouldn't apply for a job that you know it's going to be a shithole. That
That's the thing.
you know.
But Tokyo brings up a point. Like, if we fire Ezra Hendrickson right now, it's going to be Georg Heitz getting another pick at the apple, and unless he brings in Jesse Marsh, I don't really have a lot of faith in the plan.
Honestly, if he were to bring a guy, first of all, if he brings a guy like Jesse Marsh, chances are Heitz is gone, because Jesse Marsh is probably going to be running he's going to be the GM and the head coach. So
that sounds about right.
You know, he's not gonna take orders from. I think the only person he's gonna take orders from is from Mansueto. That's it. But the thing is, yeah, Neo's right. They do need to get rid of Heights, but chances are they're also gonna get rid of Ezra. No new GM is gonna keep Ezra. They're gonna take that as baggage from the last guy, from the last regime.
Unless the team starts showing something for all of the coaching that they've received.
And you know, that's one thing that a new GM is going to have to do. He's going to sit down and evaluate all these results. He's probably going to look back at all these games that were close misses that we didn't finish out. And he's going to be like, do I really want a guy like this running the team? I mean, do I really want to put my faith, my job on the line for this guy?
I mean, you got fans. Something made me sad the other day. I saw someone who claimed to be a season ticket holder saying like, they didn't want to go anymore. I'm like, it's game 3. I'm like, you don't have to be like that.
Mean, anything can happen. I mean, there's
a long season left to go. We have good players on the freaking squad.
That's what's mind-boggling, is that we have good players. I just don't think we have a good manager to manage those good players, to kind of play them in a system that they're all comfortable in.
And even still bringing in a new guy to run something, are they going to really be able to get some sort of better result? Maybe they'll be able to make a playoff push, perhaps, depending on the person.
And the thing is that I believe this year is a contract year for a couple of players, and that's gonna free up a lot of salary cap.
Someone said that Wiki was doing well over in the Swiss or wherever he's coaching now. So, and they're pointed out that it could be just a Chicago Fire problem.
It could be a GM problem. It could be a GM that doesn't know what they're doing, and
A
apparently,
systemic issue. Yeah.
Heights has a I've heard people have said that they have talked to former Fire players.
Like
They
Marsh.
said that
Toke would have Marsh here.
no, well,
but he's
not
too
even
good
not,
for us and
I'm-
MLS.
I'm talking about recent former Chicago Fire players
Mm,
that have said that, hey man, Soto's a really good guy, but Heights is fucking amateur.
really?
So if that's the case, chances are Heights has no idea what he's doing. He just pretty much for all I know, he could be scrambling, begging his assistant to tell him what to do, or I don't know. The guy doesn't. It's just I think he's out of his depth, and he's been out of his depth since day one. He had no knowledge of this league. He just walked into because apparently there's an agency that recommends GMs, but that agency did him a disservice because he has no idea, and he still doesn't have any idea what he's doing.
Mhm.
He just bringing in players just to bring them. Like it's like man, like how bad. Like, what else do you need to do to get this guy fired? Like, this guy has not made the playoffs. He's already gone through 2 coaches, and nothing has changed. And at that point, you have to say, you know what? Heights is not a good GM. Heights should not be near this team anymore.
And his fingerprints are not really all over the Gaga Slonina transfer. They are there for the Gaga, for the John Duran transfer. But who's the next guy? And look what's happened to his DPs. All of his DPs.
Exactly.
They don't seem to be good enough.
And the thing about it is that there's still people that still defend Ezra. I mean, to a certain extent, I mean, I get where they're coming from, where they're saying, "Oh, well, Ezra didn't get a fair chance. He didn't get the right players." But man, it's just like even if you don't get the right players, you will think you have some sort of tactical knowledge of what to do. Like, how do you explain some of these players being undisciplined? You don't need a certain player to correct that. You have players getting yellow cards for stupid reasons, for childish reasons that don't make sense.
Well, he also has nobody he can pivot to up until this week. Like the Jonathan Dean has developed into somebody he can now maybe pivot to. And Brian Sandalo tweeted out he thinks that both outside backs, meaning Suquet and Navarro, will be replaced by the new guys, Jonathan Dean and Aceves.
That's a possibility. We haven't seen Aceves yet. I can't wait to see him play. I think he might bring a lot to the table. I think he wants to prove himself to the team. And Jonathan Dean, come on, this guy was signed from the USL. That guy is motivated. He wants to stick around and keep playing top tier soccer in the US. He just want to go back to USL. And you know what? And he made that statement on Saturday. He hustled. It's been a while since I've seen an outside back actually track back and catch up to their to their opposing player that has a clear run on goal, and still make a sliding tackle with perfection.
Doak can't believe anybody still has hope that this Fire team has the ability for a playoff push, like us right now. Us saying that if with the right steward in charge, maybe this team could go somewhere. But that would also all of a sudden lend some sort of credence to the idea that Georg Heitz has been successful at putting together a team.
I think I want to say that they're measuring the success of Heitz because of the transfers of Duran and Gaga, which is not a really good indicator. And it's worse if Mansueto is using that as his excuse to keep re-signing Heitz, because that's not a good look. But at that point, it almost seems like, okay, you don't care about being competitive. All you care about is selling players. And the thing about it is that we're gonna be that club team that's never gonna be competitive, that's never gonna go to the playoffs because the owner or the GM wants to keep selling players. They want to develop players, but they're gonna sell them, and then we're just still gonna be stuck on our rut. I mean, let's see what FCNeoToyko said. Play only
the
kids.
kids.
So everyone else hire Andre was as GM.
Onweyu, Oguchi Onweyu as
Yep.
GM.
Then get a madman style coach and boom, be back. You know what? I think this Fire team needs a coach like that. Because honestly, the way that these guys are playing, it's like they're doing whatever they want on the field. They're getting yellow cards for stupid reasons. They're not disciplined. You know, you need a coach that's gonna go in there and just like slap some sense into some of these players, like really hard ass, like go run 5 miles or something like that. You know, but I don't know. Like it's just that's up to Mansueto. He has to eventually he has to realize that Heights is not working out. You know, you're the only of our last place team that has lost value.
It might be working somewhere else, but it's not working in MLS.
I mean, if Mansueto feels that compelled towards Heights, like he feels like, oh my God, you did me a solid type of thing, then send him to Lugano. You know, get him away from the Fires. Cut all ties between him and the Fire. That's what you need to do.
You really think so?
I mean, you have to bring a GM that knows this league in and out, that could kind of wheel and deal, make deals, make things happen, see the product on the field, and see what needs to be improved, and have some sort of rapport or communication with the head coach and say, hey, coach, what do you need? I got these 5 guys lined up. Who do you think should be on there? You know, have that sort of relationship. I don't see that with Heights, because if Heights is just signing players to sign them, that's just him just signing players. It makes me wonder how much of an input Ezra has in all these player signings.
Right. Well, think about what Georg Heights has said about the last time a coach was here, which was Wiki. He was like, I'm not friends with this guy. So I'm like, well, that to me, that tells me everything. It ain't no Ted Lasso.
You know,
Right.
and if you look past, you know, all these former successful head coaches, they tend to have a really good GM behind them that backed them up. You know, it was more or less, you know, the GM will be more or less a facilitator. If a head coach needed something, they'll say, hey, you know what? I need a certain player that could do this, that, and that. Okay, sounds good. I'll get the scouting department to start looking. We'll give you some options, and then we'll go after those options.
Well, you got to admit that the Chicago Fire's player pool, probably a little bit more limited than Real Madrid, Barcelona.
Oh yeah, of course, but
Right.
that's not
Yeah.
that's not stopping other teams to being successful.
That's the thing.
That's not stopping your LAFCs, your Seattles, your Atlanta. You know, that's not stopping them from being successful.
No.
Because they make they make the right moves. They sign the right players. They know what players to go after. It's more or less that they have an idea of what they want. Versus the Fire just signed players that are available because nobody wanted to bite during the transfer window. You know what? Garth Lagerwey didn't want to be here. He probably didn't want to deal with the politics here. He probably just wanted to go somewhere where.
What do you think? Yeah, I mean, like, because that was a possibility, but that seemed to get put out pretty quickly.
Yeah, he didn't want. I don't think he wanted to be here. I think his whole, his connections with Illinois or Chicago, I think they were just limited. It was just a place where he used to live at. He didn't care.
Right.
And the thing about it is that, why would you want to go to Chicago when you have the opportunity to go to Atlanta, a much more robust and exciting setup with the full backing of an owner? Not saying that Mansueto's not, backing an owner. He's not saying that Mansueto is not an owner that backs his GM, but there's a difference between how Atlanta runs things and versus how Chicago Fire runs things. So
Atlanta is struggling and been struggling for a few years now, but still they managed to build a stadium. It's a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
And then the Chicago Fire are able to create, and the level of excitement is just way different, too.
And not even that, but also ownership. And look at St. Louis FC. They hire a GM that apparently put a team together, and they're 4-0. They're a scary team.
Which team is that?
St. Louis.
St. Louis, yeah. Archduke himself's team has been playing out of their absolute mind. I mean, the trial is going to fall off the back of the train at some point, but
yeah,
they might make the playoffs. They might stack enough points here in the long run with just like a good run of form and keep it going through parts that are just going to be surprising to a lot of fans.
Of course, yeah, and I mean, eventually the wheels are going to fall off. I mean, there's no doubt about that, and reality is going to set in. But I mean, normally you would think that the expansion team will be like the punching bag of the league, and they're not. They're literally beating everybody else. Obviously, they haven't had a whole lot of competition. They faced off who? They faced off against LAFC. They faced off against not LAFC. I'm sorry. Let me take that back. They faced off against Austin. They faced off against was it Montreal? Either way, they still haven't faced a team like Atlanta or LAFC or Seattle yet. So we don't know how.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
They haven't faced anybody of significance, is what you're saying. But I thought we played the Philadelphia or something. No, it was DC. Who have we played? Cincinnati. They're good. They're middling.
I think, Tokyo actually made a good point. We are at the crossroads of a chicken and egg. No one good or smart wants to be here, but all we need is good and smart people. That is true. That is true. I think we've gotten to a point that we shouldn't. First off, Mansueto literally has to give someone a truckload of cash to come and work here.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think that we have hired, that we have hired a lot of the right people, but to me, I don't think that the right people have been empowered. That's the key word.
It's weird because there's a lot of changes going on in the organization.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily the player, the first team organization, more or less what's on the front office. I actually ran into my old season ticket holder rep at the NYFC game, the home opener. And he when I say old, I mean he got promoted to a higher, I guess he became a director or something. And he was telling me that this was going to be his last month, and I was like, what? What happened? He's like, oh, well, they want to bring in their own people. Like, really? He's like, yeah, they want to bring their own people. I'm like, well, man, I hope you get something, man, because you're really, you were a good season ticket holder rep. You always came through for me. I mean, I hope the Bulls, Blackhawks, White Sox, whoever, gets you a job somewhere. I mean, that sucks. And and the thing about it is that I've known this guy since 2012. I've known this guy for a while, and it's just unfortunate that I guess new management wants to bring in their own people, which I feel like it's gonna have more of a corporate look and feel of it. Things from a season ticket holder perspective. A lot of people were comparing how the Fire were becoming like the 2016 Cubs after they won the World Series. They raised up their ticket prices. They stopped doing little things for the fans. They just say, hey, you take it or leave it. Don't like it, there's somebody else waiting for you. And I don't know why they're acting that way if we haven't won any trophies. I mean, I don't know how familiar Mansueto was with soccer before he bought the Fire. I mean, I don't know.
He's familiar with Chicago, but I mean, if he's probably not familiar with MLS.
My thing is, did you buy the team because you said, okay, I could get these guys out of Bridgeview and sold? And do you think do you feel like you did the fan base a favor by playing them in Soldier Field?
Right.
That's why you feel like you need to raise up tickets, because that's not a good excuse. I mean, a lot of people were saying they were more comfortable at Bridgeview, even if it was farther away. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I like the idea of the Fire playing in actually in Chicago, but you know, Bridgeviews tended to be more intimate. It was a more intimate environment.
Bridgeview was so much better. It was so much, in so many ways, it was better.
In so many ways, it was better. Parking was free or cheaper because of where, you know, if you bought 2 season tickets, they'll give you free parking.
Right.
Little things like that. It made it work.
And they were in control of that, and they say, "Oh, but we're not in control of that now." But hey, you gave that up.
Yeah, and at that point, is like if
Like,
the Bears leave, are you gonna get more leverage now? Because now you're the only permanent tenant there. It's just Soldier Field location is 50 times better.
Nope.
Tokyo, you're crazy, man. Stop smoking that stuff, man.
Wow. I mean,
I'm gonna call y'all like that, Tokyo. Not only because of what you just said right now, but because you're not here right here to defend yourself. So, joke's on you.
It's true. I'll grab that. All right.
No, but I mean, I like going to Soldier Field. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like going to Soldier Field.
I enjoy going to Soldier Field once a year.
But the thing is, here's the thing. It would be more exciting if this team was competitive, because you could expect crowds of like 40,000 people going to these games.
Right.
It's
That'd be a
you know,
different, that would change how we feel about going to Soldier Field, I think.
yeah, it will. And the thing about it is that, if you know, you look at Atlanta, you look at Seattle, they fill up football stadiums, no problem. If the Fire were to start setting up a winning record, if the Fire were to be competitive, if the Fire were competing for the MLS Cup every year, you know, it's just, you could easily get 40,000 people to go to that stadium. I mean, we were selling out Bridgeview. You know, I mean, even though it was like 21,000 people, but we were selling out Bridgeview when we were on that, you know, glorious winning streak. In 2017. There was a couple of games where I looked at my phone, I'll get a notification saying, "Oh, Bridgeview is sold out, standing room only."
Bridgeview was difficult to get to for some capacity. I definitely understand that. And like, I understand that it was not, it needed fixing. It needed adjustments,
Like,
especially in the roads to get there and the ways to get there.
And the thing about it too is, like, you know, going back to Soldier Field, I mean, I actually have more flexibility to get to Soldier Field than I did with Bridgeview. I mean, besides the fact that I have family, I live in Chicago, I can park my car, I could take the Blue Line, I could take an Uber, I could take the train, as Tokyo mentioned, and I'll still save myself money instead of paying the $30 for parking. And I might do that. I'm just gonna wait for the weather to get warm, because I don't want to wait out for a bus when it's like 20 degrees, something like that. But yeah, no, Tokyo's right. You know, it's easier for people to get to Soldier Field. I mean, obviously, I wish they did something better in terms of infrastructure, because I mean, that place gets really crowded pretty quick. But yeah,
It sucks walking out of Soldier Field. Walking into Soldier Field, never a problem. Walking out of Soldier Field, always a miserable experience. For me.
of course, yeah. I mean, it's you know what? I gotta start parking somewhere else, actually.
Oh yeah, that might solve it. I know that
What
they
I
have
mean
different
by-
areas.
What I mean by that is, I gotta start. So if you're familiar with Soldier Field, apparently there's a north parking lot garage, and when the game's over, they let you actually exit out and head north on Lakeshore Drive. Because if you park in the other two lots, the Waldron Deck and the one across the street, they force you to go to the south on Lakeshore Drive, which sucks because I have to go all the way around to get to the north side of Chicago.
That does not sound like fun.
It doesn't, especially if it's like a heavy traffic day.
And that's the thing. Chicago is, you know, and it's right there on the. It's such a cool location. Would you like it if they actually figured out a way to kind of split time between both locations?
You know what? You know what?
This is a weird idea.
Tokyo Neo saying stop driving, dog. Look, I'm gonna keep driving, bro. This country was built on oil.
Dude,
So
driving's
stop.
the fucking shit.
I don't care, man. I'd rather
Horseless
drive.
chariot. You don't want me to drive a horseless chariot?
I'd rather drive than sit in a bus trying to fight off drunks and gangbangers from robbing me.
Oh my gosh, it's so much better. How could anybody want to subject other people to that miserable experience? That's torture. They could get stabbed. They could die.
Yeah. Have you not heard about people getting robbed on the red line? FC Neo? You must be new to Chicago. It sounds like you. Oh wait, you're from Peoria. Never mind. No, I'm just kidding, man.
We are shitting on Chicago hard. I gotta say, Chicago's my favorite city in the world.
Look, Chicago's home, right? But even though Chicago's home, I'm smart enough on the things I should do and I shouldn't do. If you live here long enough, you start realizing that pretty quick.
If you want to live longer.
Yeah, you start to realize the things that you should do and the things you should be avoiding.
You don't send your daughter on the red line home after a Cubs game.
Nope.
By herself, or with her friend, or with only her friends. I mean, like,
Exactly.
if she got a whole bunch of male friends, it's older, it's college, it's different. But it's like, grade school, high school. I don't know. Pick them up. Pick them up.
It's just.
They don't need to deal with it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, man. I said FCNeoToyko. I'm so sick of driving. I literally go to the burbs and back, and that's it.
Driving is can be a hassle, especially if you do it every day and going through a slog. But also, driving can be magical. There's something about driving that
You know what?
a computer can't replicate.
Hey, you know what? The thing about driving is that I could, especially after fire games, I will. If someone's doing like a podcast or a live, watch along with the fire game, I might put that on and listen to them and whatnot, and while wait in traffic or whatever, I don't mind. And I know that I'm safe and nobody's gonna like stab me from behind or, rob me.
Right?
Because after all, this is Chicago. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I going back to the fire. I know the big thing lately is that people are defending Brady because of the, his fault on the Philadelphia game. Like, he should have done a lot better. Even the commentator was like, he needs to do a lot better than that. And it's true. I mean, he messed up. He messed up. It's one of those situations where I mentioned it last time we were here, is that you don't put a brand new player like that, especially a young kid, to start the start of the season, fresh. Like, at least
it's already like a must-win game.
Yeah, it's like we gave Gaga 10 games in a season prior to get experience, and Gaga actually got rid of all those mistakes, in those 10 games.
He got rid of a lot of mistakes, and even still, we saw mistakes in his first season, but it's because he got those 10 games that season that set him up.
Exactly. And again, I think it's gotten to a point that you could give Ezra Real Madrid, and he still won't be able to win or close out games.
You think so?
Yeah. He's just not. I don't think he's a good manager. I come to a realization that he's not a good manager. We tried giving him. We were patient last season. You saw this. We talked. We went back and forth like, oh yeah, Ezra's not bad. But I think it's becoming a realization that he's not a good manager.
We've given him a chance, and there's a reason he's been a number 2. I mean,
yeah, that's the thing, is like, this guy's been an assistant for almost 20 years. I mean, I'm sure someone probably noticed, yeah, this guy is probably a better assistant than he is a head coach. Because of, I don't know who he is, like, it's just, it's weird that you know, you would think that the assistant of successful clubs will be like the hot candidate for any potential open MLS head coach jobs, right?
He's been available for a long time.
Yeah, and it's just like, I'm sure the GMs of other teams probably were like, hey, I don't think this guy's ready. He sounds very amateurish. I don't know, you know. He might just be better. There's some guys that are just cut out to be assistant managers.
Right. For better or for worse.
Yeah, it's just maybe he's a really good assistant manager. That's fine. It's no, you know, hey, that's what you're good at, then that's fine. I honestly think that to be a head coach is a whole different breed. It's not just a guy with a whistle. There's a guy that has to know psychology, and a guy that could manage all these egos and, you know, be able to put a winning team with whatever they give him. Like, how do you explain like teams like Colorado and San Jose? You know, how do they stay competitive? You know.
Well, they're not relying on guys like Brady, who is the truth. Tokyo saying Brady's the truth. Let him take his lumps. But Gaga lit up today. But those teams aren't so reliant on these guys.
Yeah.
They're more reliant on revitalizing failed projects. And they do it too.
Yeah.
Colorado, that is Colorado Rapids. I got lit up today. What happened?
Yeah, lit up 4-0 against the French U20s.
Yikes! But I mean, like, he got lit up, but it sounds like the team let him down.
It's the French U20s. What do you expect? You know, these guys are these guys are playing for big clubs in Europe. You know, training with like some of the best teams in Europe. Versus you got the US U20s, and some of these guys are playing in like MLS Pro Next or something like that, you know? So yeah.
That's rough. Man, MLS, do you think that they're in a good place? I think MLS is in a better place than NWSL is.
Much better place.
And when we think about the long-term viability of MLS, I mean, like, it's not gonna be failing anytime soon. But we got the World Cup coming up here. They're trying to drum up fan interest. No games in Chicago. How are we gonna deal with that?
It's real easy. Hope that you're gonna have to start thinking about doing a road trip. Gonna have to plan some road trips.
Road trip. Got to do a road trip. I'm gonna have to pick a spot and go to one. And damn, it's gonna be a crazy time. It's gonna be nuts. A lot of people from Chicago are gonna be doing that. There's a lot of fans that are missing out.
Yeah, I mean, the closest stadium is gonna be what, Kansas City? I mean, I don't know if Detroit's hosting it. I think it's Kansas City. And you know, since you're already in Kansas City, you might as well just go to Texas too while you're at it. That's probably what I'm gonna end up doing. Is I'm gonna end up doing a road trip, watching at least.
Get two games, one in one different. Yeah. But then, if you stay in one location, you can kind of get more of the. I don't know. You can get a different. Well, yeah, it'll be a different experience either way.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we're gonna have a bunch of tourists show up in the U.S. I mean, technically, I don't even think you need the tourists. I think you could pretty much fill these stadiums up without having the mass influx of tourists to watch the games. Yeah.
Do you think that the World Cup is going to be huge, and do you think it will have any effect on MLS and maybe even players coming to MLS before or after? And when do you think the best effect will be for MLS? Will it bring in more better players before or after?
Hold on, let's see. Tokyo actually posted a question. If you can afford World Cup tickets, you flying to wherever the game is. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I want to spend all that money flying, because I'm sure plane, airline tickets are going to be through the roof. You get from one place to another. At that point, you might have to consider driving.
Along with everybody too. I mean, like everybody's gonna be flying, everybody's gonna be driving. You're gonna be either way. It's gonna be madness, I think, in these World Cup cities.
Yeah, Tokyo, I think you should just go in a bunker since you hate all this corporate.
Kansas or
Shenanigans.
Minnesota? Minnesota could be great.
Yeah, Minnesota could be great.
I've been to Minnesota. I went to a Minnesota Twins game at their new stadium. So awesome.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna go to St. Louis for the first time in a couple of weeks, a week or so.
Are you gonna go to the St. Louis game?
No, I'm not a Cardinals fan.
No,
Or,
St. Louis
no,
FC.
Nope. I'm just gonna go there, check out the museums, and that's it. I am not stepping foot in that stadium. I am not gonna be buying anything from their store.
Maybe they have a stadium worth checking out.
Maybe from the outside, I'll say, oh, I guess, cool.
Cardinals game though.
No.
St. Louis Blues.
Nope.
What are the other St. Louis teams?
I mean, I care much about St. Louis as much as they care about me, so there you go.
Yes, and Rising Tide. What's Rising Tide?
Again, he's probably talking about some sort of corporate shenanigans.
I don't know if he's talking about a song or Roll Tide, like Alabama.
Yeah.
Rising Tide.
Is he still living? Is he still living that vegan lifestyle?
Yes, he is. Yeah, but he gets his vitamins, he gets his proteins from someplace.
He gets them in pills and stuff, because he
But
can't
honestly,
read.
DPG, we shouldn't be so mad. I mean, it leaves more meat for the rest of us.
That is no, but he's eating my food's food.
Oh, he's eating my food. But I do want to make sure he's getting the nice healthy nutrients.
Yeah, that way he could grow up.
To be a real man. Here, I'm gonna be a real boy. We're just kidding, brothers.
Nah, you cool people,
All
man.
love.
You cool people. Tokyo.
No, we got like a wide, varied opinions on the fire. Well, right now I'm very ambivalent.
I honestly think FC Tokyo is probably the most optimistic person with
Yes.
us three regarding the
Yes.
fire. Because I honestly and that's the problem with me in the fire. And you've seen this before. Like, I get really excited when they're winning or they win a game, and I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna turn a page. We're gonna turn a page, and it just the next game we just go back to reality.
Every year it's like that, and we get tricked into thinking that the team, the roster, it's a little bit better, and it's supposed to be better. It should be better.
Yeah.
And then we get bitch slapped.
You know,
Right back to reality.
Angus actually listed the Battlehawks on the XFL as one of the teams.
They might
I-
attract more interest than the fire, DPG.
I guess, but
It's
if you're
arguable.
if you're pushing the XFL teams on this list, I don't know, man. That tells me a lot about St. Louis.
They lost their football team. They don't count that Kroenke team or whatever, the LA Rams.
You mean the team that won the Super Bowl? Oh,
Oh shit! I did not like the Rams.
yeah. But yeah, I think FCNeoToyko is the most optimistic one of all of us. I think he sees the good in people. I think he tries to see the good in Ezra or the
And
good
you know
in
what?
Brady.
We got to see the good in St. Louis teams. At least they're not the Yankees.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, I didn't. Or some New York fan talking about their pizza. Oh yeah, we have the best pizza in the world. Look at this flop. Look at this flop. Look at this floppy stuff. Yeah.
That's fun.
I don't know. So we'll see. my outlook for the rest of the season, it's all going to depend. I don't know if Minnesota's the type of owner that's actually going to start firing people in the middle of the season and force changes right away.
Right? Like, think about that. Like, is it financially viable? Toke says no. St. Louis can burn.
Oh,
They're coming
Jesus.
for you, Archduke. Pitchforks and torches raised.
Pyro.
The pyro. I know. I love it. Cardinals fans can be too polite. Too polite. Cardinals fans can go stuff their nest.
Yeah.
And I'm a White
Right.
Sox fan. But also Tony La Russa. Holy shit.
I think that's the best thing that happened to the White Sox is that he left the team.
Yeah, I mean,
Or he had to quit.
twice.
Wait. But anyways, like I said, we have to see what happens with the Fire. We still haven't even seen that Greek kick that we signed. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if his visa's taking forever
Still
or
in Greece, getting his fingerprints scanned for the green card.
yeah, probably. That's the thing. It's like I guess it's a long process. I figured, Mansueto might have had an in or a plug at the U.S. Customs office. I guess not.
That's not. Mansueto was
Yeah,
only the 15th richest billionaire in MLS.
And the thing about it is that for a while he was actually trying to get these guys green cards right away.
Speaking of billionaires, DBG, did you see that the bids for the Manchester United?
Yeah, you got some
$5
guy.
billion?
You got some guys named Lord something, and then you have some oil tycoons from the Arabian Peninsula trying to get in on that.
Right.
So you got royalty and royalty trying to get Manchester United. There you go.
Paying $5 billion. Tokyo confirming that the Greek kid still can't get a visa, but maybe he's just got to show employment at a Greek restaurant.
He needs to tell Coppolas, hey Coppolas, can you say that I work at Greek Islands restaurant?
Hey, can you say that I work over at the Greek Islands? I mean, I worked there for 2 weeks, so how much more do I got to work to get a visa here? Jeez.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's like a New York Jew.
Oh, man.
Oy vey. What do I got to do? I'm taking a schwitz.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
but
yeah.
$5 billion. Do you think that's not real money? First of all, but
I mean, these guys are probably gonna pay in gold bars. They're not gonna ask for a bank loan or anything like the Glazers did. These guys are gonna like show up with truckloads of cash and just dump it in front of the front lawn of the Glazers. Like, here you go. Here's your money. You can count if you want. Do you want that in gold?
They're ever gonna make? They're never gonna make that money back.
If anybody that buys Manchester United now is probably gonna advertise the hell out of it. They're gonna go like on a revamped global expansion. They're gonna be like, they're gonna like try to force it on everybody's throats globally. Not that they haven't done so already, but they're probably gonna take it to another level.
Well, I got the wife talking. I got the wife calling. You can keep talking. I just got to mute for a second. I got the wife. Cool. Milkshake. Surprise milkshake from the wife.
Nice. Yeah, I can't have those right now, but yeah.
Dude, they're bad for me too. I'm gonna regret it.
But on that note, I'm gonna have to call it a night. I got to go work out at the gym.
DBG. Appreciate you stopping by, brother.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. Have a good night.
All right, brother. Have a good night, man. That was DPG, 10-year plus season ticket holder for Chicago Fire, weighing in on all things spit and fire. That was awesome. And he's saying the Glazers could easily have control of their club while they obtain some minority owners. Oh, they both sound good. That's the thing. Like, it's a cash cow. But if they sell for $5 billion, how much did the Glazers buy it for? Let's find out. The Glazers bought Man United for $1.4 billion. And now they're going to sell them for about 5. I mean, it's not bad. Definitely not bad. Pretty darn good. Unfortunately, that what's going on here? Why can't we reclaim? Pick between 5 classes. I want to complete. How come we can't get anybody in here? All right, we're gonna have to zoom out. Let's do it. We'll try again. That's the other thing. Like, when you hear from Manchester United supporters, I being one of them, and I don't say this, but like you hear from other Manchester United supporters, oh, the Glazers, they're so bad. But I'm like, I hear the same thing about the Bears. I hear the same thing about the Bulls. I hear the same thing about the Bulls and the White Sox because they're the same owner. I hear the same thing about a lot of these teams. Oh, the owner's bad. Everybody complains about their mother trucking owner of their team. Always saying, oh, it's not enough. He's not spending enough. He's not doing enough. I mean, he's not doing it. And of course, we're pouring our money. We're pouring our heart, our soul, our time, our attention into this. This looks pretty funny. Getting nice and clean in there. And we got a little rubber ducky. Oh, and you kind of nice, get calm in there, get comfy. Clean, but careful, you don't want to crisscross. Time for PK, Simbar. And the Eternal. Look at this guy. It's funny looking. Ooh. Or I'm Ned. Yeah, what's going on there? Yeah, that's a question though. Like, people say, they say the Glazers are bad? I'm like, are they? Why are they so bad? Oh, because they take money out of the club. They take money out of their business. They expect profit out of their business. Oh, and they're like, oh, that's such an American way to do business. To be successful? It makes no sense. And then like the vitriol, the hatred that these pundits spew towards America, it's kind of like, it's like, oh shit, I gotta remember that. Oh shit, we did beat their asses back in the Revolutionary War, and they did think about helping the Confederacy during the Civil War, and they did actually dabble in both sides back then. So the British could be duplicitous. Angus McArthur saying, I think that the Qatar owners will probably outbid Sir Jim. I think so too. They certainly can. They could be like, here, we'll just give you Qatar. They're like, yeah, Qatar, we'll just give it to you. And they're like, wait, you can't do that. I'm like, no, Qatar, we'll give it to you. Here, we want Man United. Don't give it to Sir Jim. They got 2 guys, literally a guy named Sir Jim, like the most English name you could fucking have, and then the Qatari guy, Sir bin, whatever it is, guy from Qatar. Very interesting. Either way, it's like a rich guy, super. Well, what do you expect? Sort of conglomerate group. Very interesting. How did this Sir Jim get all these billions? Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the British billionaire, chemical engineer, and businessman, the chairman of Ineos Chemicals, which he himself founded in 1998. Companies it's estimated to have a turnover of 65 billion. That was back in 2021. He's 70 years old. I am impressed with his one paragraph Wikipedia paragraph page. That I was prepared to be like, "Pah, pah." But this dude, pretty impressive. Now, who is the other? Bin Sheikh Mansour, Manchester United bids. So Sheikh Jassim. Look up Sheikh Jassim. He is Sheikh Jassim 63. He's from Doha, Qatar. Let's see his one paragraph. He was the Prime Minister of Qatar from 2007 to 2013. And a foreign minister from 92 to 2013. How did he make all this money? He's a politician and he's a billionaire. Career. Between 1982, he's the younger brother of a founding father of Qatar. Between 82 and 89, he's the director of the Office of Municipal Affairs, in which he collected a lot of money. Business and wealth. Al Thani is one of the richest people in the world, having overseen Qatar's 230 billion sovereign wealth fund until 2013. He's been named the man who bought London by British tabloids. His holdings include London. London include the Shard, Harrods, and the Intercontinental London Park Lane. He also owns the football club Paris Saint-Germain. Wait. So this guy owns PSG? I thought that PSG is owned by Qatar Sports Investments. That's different. But maybe he's he's involved with Qatar Sports Investments. Yikes. I prefer Sir Jim, guys. I can say politicians in the Middle East have very close connections to oil wealth. And they're probably Can we play? Dan. See, this doesn't make sense. We'll return to lobby. We'll return to lobby. We'll reset. And see, I thought that would thought we could play that. Oh man, I want to play Gemstone Tycoon. I'm ready for Gemstone Tycoon. Time for Gemstone Tycoon, Gemstone Tycoon. It's time for Gemstone Tycoon. Here we go. It's Gemstone Tycoon. Gemstone Tycoon. Here we go. That's a song. It would be weird when PSG and Manchester United make transactions with each other. That'd be very weird. It would be very weird. Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? I wanna play Adam the Best in a manatee. Do you think they're from Florida? Idaho? Indolent. Do you think that they're indolent? Indolent. Get it? I don't either. It'd be weird. It'd be weird. Then send Leo Messi over to Manchester United. Love it. Love it. Want some more of it. You know what else I love? Send a little Neymar over. Love it. Metal Metropolis. You want to approach it a little faster? Can we break out of here? Anytime. Can we get in? Can we get in? Can we get in? Can we get in the game? Get in the game, and I don't know what you say.
Sure, Caitlin. In the press, normally players are like, "Yeah, look, you don't want to wish misfortune on people. Like, we hope he gets back. When he gets back, it's his starting spot." Tom's like, "No, be as sick for as long as you need to be."
To apologize
good.
for my background noise. My 4-year-old's at home sick with strep throat yet again. I didn't think you could get strep throat twice in 1 month, but here we are. We are living through it. So I apologize again if he comes in.
Like
That
Provel
sucks.
cheese.
My suits on Saturdays are not fitting the same since I moved from Miami to
Cheese.
Oh, interesting. They come back. Obviously,
about
they
the
get the red
cheese.
card from Philly, but the comeback, the ridiculous nature of it, but the energy in the Big O. That place, it's not ideal. It's not perfect. But when that team is good and the fans come
Why are
in,
they
that place
making us
bounces.
wait?
And so you always want to watch a game there. It went as Montreal and Philly as this thing could have gone. And it was pretty epic. They got their first ever win. A couple of the kids from the academy played a pretty big hand in it as well. So front to back, I think this was maybe the most entertaining game of the weekend.
Yeah,
and the poutine was pouring out.
Yeah.
Speaking of cheeses.
The curves were rolling.
I'm on board with the poutine.
I'll
All
try
right,
some
Tom, give it to
poutine.
us.
Yeah, for me, it was Hector Herrera scoring for Houston, his first MLS goal.
I
and
agree,
a
man.
long-winded celebration that was him jumping into Ben Olsen's arms, which I thought was pretty cool. And not
what's
to get
going
too
on?
body language doctor on us here, but this club, from the front office to the coaching staff, have been publicly and privately challenging Hector Herrera to
I
be
wanna
better,
play
to be more
Gemstone
of a leader, to be
Tycoon.
more engaged, and again, lead this group. So I thought that was a pretty cool moment that he scored and went
I
right over to
wanna
Olsen. So
play
whatever they're challenging him, he's kind of picking it
Gemstone
up.
Tycoon.
Tom, if you could choose
I
one
wanna
MLS
play
manager to
it
jump
all
into his
night
arms in a
long.
moment of glory, who would that manager be?
It's got to be somebody tall with a big frame, so that they have a lot of room to carry you and make you feel safe and sound.
So this is an OSHA issue for you. Okay, I see.
I think Jim Curtin, because he's always in for the celebrations. It
I
would be
wanna
funny
play
to like
Fortnite,
Peter
can you
Vermees to catch somebody
show me?
against his
That's what I
will,
was
like he did with
thinking.
Willie
I wanna
Agata,
Fortnite.
and it's like a quick okay, get away from me.
But he's not going to drop you. That's a
No,
strong,
absolutely not.
sturdy
Gio
hug.
Savarese.
Not going to be
another-
happy about it, but he's
I'd
but he's
update.
gonna but he'll
I
catch you.
worry about Gio that he would move as you jump because he's celebrating on his own. Like,
He would
Gio's
jump with
high
you.
energy on his celebrations. Yeah.
Okay, just had to ask you the question.
I think Losada got yellow carded for celebrating too far outside of his box. I'm pretty sure. On the second goal that then got called back, that then got VAR, that then got VAR.
I wanna know.
He deserved it. It's been a
Can you
tough start in
show
Montreal. That
me?
was their first goal and win. So let's wrap it up here and get into things with my best thing I saw in match day 4. It's almost a list. We've established that 2 things does not count as a list. This is a pairing for FC Cincinnati. So first of all, they don't start Lucho Acosta because it's on the banks of Lake Michigan, and there were a number of extremely cold games this weekend, and this one was absolutely frigid. I think it feels like 8 degrees, and maybe the Saskatchewan girl with us can tell us whether that's a tolerable soccer temperature. I've never attempted to play in that temperature. What do you think?
What do I need?
Yay or
That's
nay?
like, what is that? -11 for all of the people that don't use your metric
it.
system
Celsius.
here. So it is
Forgot about
cold.
that. Yeah.
It is. We're taking this thing globally,
points.
okay? Not only our shows on the weekend, but this podcast.
100
Yeah,
points.
it's cold. I'm not gonna lie. It's not Saskatchewan cold. I will say that. I grew up in like -40, -50. That is cold. Yeah, that's like you're literally running to and from your car, so you're not freezing your face off.
Yeah, I didn't know that existed, honestly. But anyway, Lucho Acosta does not start, which was a decision that I would probably have made as well if I was Pat Noonan and also if I was Lucho. But he comes on in the 80th minute. They're down 3-1. He immediately uncorks the pass of the weekend to Sergio Santos. A diagonal ball that just, the way this thing floats and just kind of hangs in the air, almost like it reminded me of Ultimate Frisbee. When you see those girls just like uncork a 60-yard ultimate frisbee pass, I don't know what they call them, and it just kind of like floats down into the on-running person's arms. It was ultimate frisbee-esque. Tom. I'm guessing he played in college.
No,
and
it's
then
just, hold on. The
Tom's the only one that
Lucho
found that hilarious.
we be watching a Lucho Acosta assist and being like, you know what this reminds me of? Ultimate Frisbee. Like
Exactly. We all have our own viewpoints, Tom. Let me have mine, okay? And Junior Moreno's viewpoint in this game, by the way, is that he was going to score literally everything. Junior Moreno has played more than 10,000 minutes in Major League Soccer. Up until the other night in Chicago, he had scored 3 goals. He scored 3 goals in this game. 1 was taken back for an offside. The other 2 counted. But just an incredible, like, statistical anomaly that will never happen ever again for Junior Moreno. Just a pretty incredible note.
Because he's a Venezuelan international. Again.
Yeah, it's just out of character, man. I don't know where that came from him. All right, let's dive into things and go deep on Atlanta United. Nick hit us up and said, I hope everyone enjoyed when Atlanta United was bad. We're back, and they're back leading extra time. So here we are. Thiago Almada is your early MVP. Fans of the pod despair. We're going to talk about this guy for as long as we need to. 4 goals, 4 assists so far this season. Nobody's ever done that in their first 4 games of a season in Major League Soccer, so he's making history there. He only scores bangers. Somehow we didn't put his free kick in the best things we saw on match day 4, but it is absolutely, I mean, it just...
Bro, no spoilers. I haven't heard ETR. Extra time radio?
Mind-bending. I know Nick Romano came out on Twitter and said, hey, look, goalkeepers save this if the wall is set up differently. Like, that's all well and good, Nick, and if that had happened differently, maybe we could talk about that, but it didn't. There was a big wall. Atlanta United tossed a couple more guys in the wall, and Thiago Almada took 2.5 steps and just absolutely wrapped his foot around this thing. It looked like 5 yards outside and above the top right corner, and absolutely upper 90 belter. Just an incredible goal, a menace on the break. The best player in Major League Soccer, period, right now, Dave. Period.
You shouldn't have come to me first on that because I don't know that I agree with you.
Perfect.
But because I think we just talked about Lucho Acosta, who to me is the MVP favorite right now. It's his to lose and everyone else to chase. I like what Almada's done, and when you look at Atlanta's start to the year, it doesn't happen without him. Thiago Almada carried them through the San Jose game. He's the reason they blew Charlotte out in that first half, and he did it once again here. And right now, Pineda has created a setup where they get themselves in transition moments. They get Almada 35 yards to run. And what he's able to do at high speed is unreal in this league. He's able to find runners. He's able to beat defenders even at full speed and keep the ball under control. And then the opposing team scatter because you're nervous. You're trying to recover. Everyone's trying to figure out who's going to step to Almada, and he's effortless. And if you decide we're not going to deal with transition moments, we're just going to foul them, then he can step up and do this. And that's the other part of the game that he brings is you don't really have a fix. So unless you're going to sit in deep and try and have us break you down for 90 minutes, you can't stop Thiago Almada, and that's a weapon very few Major League Soccer teams have ever had.
So in other great news for Atlanta United and maybe bad news for the rest of the Eastern Conference,
more bad news
Araujo scores. Caleb Wiley scores again, now has 3 goals, 2 assists in the season. Yakumakis scores, gets his first goal. He looks like an absolute goal psychopath in the Joseph Martinez mold. It's trending that way. They're tied for the league lead in goals. They lead the league in possession. They have the second best XG mark in the league. The only possible issue here, Tom, and we're all thinking it, is how long they hold on to Thiago Almada. Ash hit us up, said, how much is Almada worth right now? And Ricky hit us up and said, start the bidding at 40 million and keep pushing it higher. Do you agree once with Dave, by the way, that Almada is not the MVP frontrunner? I'll start that quickly. Give me a short answer, yes or no.
Very clearly the MVP frontrunner with 8 goal contributions in 360 minutes.
I completely agree. And now, what do you think could happen with Thiago Almada?
So Atlanta United are going to try to keep him for as long as they can, and that would, to them, is the winter. So they're going to try to not sell him in the summer, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to.
There we go.
The bidding, it probably starts at 30 million. It has to be the league record fee, and then I'm not sure how much higher you go or what the market's going to look like. Again, all these things are contingent on how many teams are interested, what teams they are, where the bids are coming, and if 2 teams are going to kind of bid against each other. What
we
is
go.
cool is that he's so clearly like in the global game, like a wonder kid. Like it's not just, oh, this player from MLS is playing well. Like there is no qualifiers to suggest about his performance and about his talent and the way he's seen around the world. He's going to be playing for a big European club at some point in the near future. He's going to break Miguel Almiron transfer record, the league outbound transfer record, which was 27 million, I believe, to Newcastle. It's only about if Atlanta are able to hold on to him through the summer into the winter, because rightly so, their attack orbits around Thiago Almada. That was a smart tactical decision. That's what they need to do. When you take him out of this team, they could have a lot of similar problems that they've had in the past. Like, he's a cheat code in transition. He's the anti-Ezekiel Barco. He makes the right decision so frequently, which is, I think, what makes him so special. He has all the technical qualities and everything else, but his IQ and vision is something special. And that's what separates a player from being a mid-table Premier League club to one of the biggest clubs in the world. Like this, he's awesome, and Atlanta have runners around him, which is not something that they have had in the past. The attack is a cohesive unit rather than just a collection of talent that they hope is gonna, fit well and score goals. So again, if Atlanta are able to
Chat. Toke also heard something about Firmino to St. Louis today. He would be heartbroken.
hold on to him through the summer, they're going to be one of the best teams in
I'd
the
be
league.
heartbroken too.
If not, they better have a replacement ready
I
and
hope
somebody
not.
who can fit in immediately.
That's so sick that the train is going in the background, 5 stripes like style. So sick. Freight train, Atlanta United. Kaylin, what do you think of Atlanta so far? Take a big picture.
Big picture, I agree with everyone. I cannot see Almada staying there past the summer, and I think Atlanta United would be crazy to hold on to him. I mean, that's the one thing about Atlanta United, is it's such a desirable club, not only because of the fans. I mean, it's a great place to live, but it's because young players can go there, and they've seen it time and time again, and get sold off by a lot of money. Excuse me, my 4-year-old's, I think he's like make-believing friends at the moment in the background, but it's
Future Atlanta
Taylor's
United.
like, are there 15 people in my house right now?
Yeah, I'm like,
Wait,
who is he talking
goals?
to? At least he's not telling me to like be quiet. Like I have no idea.
Is he
what I'm
playing
talking
with
about.
trains or?
Yeah, no. He's I think he's playing like his little like 11-a-side
so
football
this
right
is
now.
Jazz.
Anyway, back to more important things.
Future pro.
That's the one thing that
And
when
right
you
now
look
I
at
wanna-
Atlanta United, a lot of young talent want to come there because they are put on a global scale. They're
I want to
put
get in
on
there.
this ownership group that is willing to sell these players at a young age. And I the one thing that scares me with Atlanta United, if they do lose Almada in the summer, if they do lose Wadley in that summer window, this is a completely different Atlanta side. They won't be winning games like they are because they look like old school Atlanta from season 1 and season 2 with Miguel Almiron, Joseph Martinez, when all of that front, I call it like that front 5 where it's all integrated. Everyone's running off each other. They don't really have positions. It's get into the most dangerous
go.
goal scoring position and fill the biggest threat. And then defensively
That wasn't that
just
big of
work
an
to get
upgrade.
back. And this is what this Atlanta side in 2023 is reminding me of, that old Atlanta side that we had saw. So big picture, scary now. Bigger picture, if they lose these 2 players, it's going to look like a completely different Atlanta side.
So I agree with you guys. I think I'm less sold on them right now than everyone else is here. Like, it's been great. Charlotte looked really bad. They blew out Charlotte. Portland have looked bad coming cross country. Noah Vander. They blew out Portland. That's awesome. San Jose, Almeida carries them. Didn't think they looked great against them, or Toronto. So I'm not as high, but what I wonder on what Kaylin was just talking about is this has been the issue the whole time. And the plan was Almiron gets sold, Joseph stays. He's the stabilizing force. Then we bring in
hello,
PT. Didn't
distribution.
work. What
There
will
we
Garth
go.
Lagerwey do now in management to try and alleviate the issue, which is they are going to continue to sign the Barcos and the Thiago Almadas? How do they continue to win? I think
There we
Giacomakis
go.
is part of that answer. Luis Araujo is the curveball on this whole thing. These are the best 3 games he's maybe ever played.
I think
for
Firmino would
Atlanta,
go to
but that's with
LAFC.
Almada. So it'll be interesting.
That makes
it feels
sense.
like with Luis Abraham in this team, but not playing, like there's more strength defensively. Ozzy Alonso's supposed to come back at some point. Brad Guzan's still in there. There's a space here where this team could be elite defensively, and then there's less pressure on the attack. But this has been the story for Atlanta the whole time, was how do we be that
go.
club that brings in young players who
Big time
want
upgrade.
to play at the highest level and win World Cups and be sold to top 4 Premier League teams, and now Newcastle United and maybe other teams with Almada, and also continue to win in Major League Soccer. And so it'll be interesting now to see someone new in Garthog, or I try and figure out that equation.
What's the test for them? So it's at Columbus, then they're home against the Red Bulls, at NYCFC, and then at Toronto and Chicago at home. Like,
I think those next 3 games are. Yeah. I like Columbus so far. I think Red Bulls are a tough team to play who know their style. Where I think so far Atlanta has played teams that haven't found their identity yet, and so Atlanta could impose what they wanted on them. And I think NYCFC at home is one of the toughest tests in Major League Soccer because of the way they know how to play in their environment.
Okay.
Get that up.
Okay. I like the pushback. You mentioned the Timbers, Dave. Injuries are an issue. So Evander didn't play in this game. He had a minutes restriction that limited in the match before that. He missed this. It makes sense. You fly cross country. You're going to play on turf. You don't play your record signing number 10, who's had a little bit of an issue integrating so far, and his health has been in question. Sebastian Blanco has a knee injury. David Ayala has a knee injury. Dyron Esprilla is out. Jimmy Chara is out. Christian Paredes is out. Felipe Mora is out. You just keep going down this list. Juan Mosquera will be out next week on international duty. How bleak, if at all, is it for Portland, Dave? Should they be worried long term?
They should be worried. Because you bring in Evander at an age where I think the assumption is he can be an Iron Man. While Sebastian Blanco is aging and the forwards are unknown.
Do you know how the FC House is doing?
Chara, what his future looks like.
No,
I think that was the point. So that's one concern.
Trouble.
The other concern is under Gio Savarese, no matter who has been healthy,
they gotta be in trouble.
Going to a back 5 has been a solution over and over and over again, at least to get results. Like they have gotten 0-0 draws, 1-0 wins over and over his time when he's gone to a back 5 and been able to sit deep and defend and sort of put Mabiala and Zuparic or Liam Ridgewell, whoever it's been, in safe spots. So to lose 5-1 when that's the first time this year you've gone to that, that's worrying in a different way that's unique. That's not just who's the starting center forward.
30.
By the way, congratulations to Diego Chara. He's the only field player in MLS history to play 30,000 or more regular season minutes with one club. Absolutely incredible from Diego Chara. He was one of the original expansion signings. If my memory of more than a decade ago, it feels like at this point, is correct.
Him and Chris Boyd.
I gotta get that up.
That was the
20
that
seconds.
was the spine they were built.
Hell of a 1-2 punch. Hell of a 1-2 punch right there. All right, St. Louis City makes history, all caps. 4th straight win. No expansion team has ever done it. No unders, not even your Sounders. They won 3 in a row.
See,
and then they lost the 4th. Just in case you forgot, I don't know if you did. TBD on that one. We are using a little bit of a, I don't know, an interesting device to remind us of the all caps nature of City's history here. Every time they get a point, Anders will increase the font size in our rundown for City. We're at 27-point font right now for City and history, so we'll see how many points they can rack up. 12 down so far by my back of the napkin math. It's probably going to take about 42, maybe 43 to make the playoffs in that 9 seed based on history. That would mean that they basically just have to get a point per game the rest of the way. You'd think that's pretty accomplishable for this team. On MLS Wrap Up on Apple TV, MLS Season Pass. It's myself, Nazario Coker, and Jillian Sakovitz every single Saturday night at the end of the action with a highlight show for you. I posed a question to them: are they going to make the playoffs? And to a man and a woman, we all said yes. So we're on record with that one. And they did it without Tim Parker in this game. They're doing it without Joaquin Nielsen, who's their other star center back, the DP-esque, quality-esque center back, TAM center back, I guess. Tom, you would remind me. They throw in Lucas Bartlett, who was a trialist a year ago at center back, and they win 3-0 and get their first ever shutout. And afterwards, Bradley Carnell had this to say: "Is it a surprise for us? No. The boys were confident from day one.
The
boys were angry from day one.
What's up, James?
No one believed in them. So yeah, we got the chip on the shoulder. We had the chip on the shoulder. But now we've shown that it's not just about having a chip on the shoulder. That's 3 chip on the shoulders in less than 3 sentences. So just count with me there. We can compete, we can dominate, we can take control, and we can execute. Now we just have to stay grounded, he warned. I don't doubt this group for one single day, that we don't remain humble, that we don't remain eager to learn and commit. I just want to keep this going. Right now the motto is comfortable, but is it uploaded? Not satisfied. That was an interpretive reading. I don't know his inflection there. I just tried to imagine what I would feel like saying.
Is it uploaded?
And to add, like, that mentality or vibe that's coming from Bradley Carnell, like Klaus said almost the same thing in his post-game interview. He's like, as everyone knows, no one believed in us before the season. Like, we trust each other. We trust the people we're working with. Like, these guys got that dog in them, and, like, they're ready to talk about it already. I was joking after their 3rd win when I was writing something about the club. I was like,
Not
yeah,
even
like
a big
if you
upgrade,
could,
but we
like
got
if you guys
20
are ready
going.
to start putting up the middle fingers to all the doubters or whatever. Like it was like, nah, not yet.
we can put
but
it into
I'll
some
let you
other
know when.
stuff.
Like so, like they have that in them, and they're ready to tell you about it, like they were after this game.
Yeah, they had the big foam middle fingers on order, so they're like, yeah, hold on, just give us one more game to do this. Could we say that they're the new laminators of 2023?
Definitely the most likely laminators. I'm gonna put it that way.
Big time laminators. Kaylin, what are you seeing on the field from
5.
St. Louis City?
I think for me, I mean, you touched on like the first 2 games of the season, okay? Maybe
2
a little bit of
going
luck.
well.
But now you can't call them lucky anymore.
Well, I
I
need
mean, they
one
have
of
11
these.
goals for, only 1 goal against. You just touched on it with players being out due to injury, Tim Parker being one of the main pivotal center back spine of this team. And players just seem to be able to slot in, know their
Gotta
role,
make
do it
more
extremely
money.
well. Someone like an
Not
Indiana
there.
Vasiljev, whether you start him, you bring him off the bench, he knows his role. Leuven in the
There it is.
midfield is just that solid, you know,
29,
box-to-box
huge.
midfielder that
All
you
right,
love to have in your
huge.
team. But this
99
team,
a second.
for me, which is scary for an expansion side, because usually with expansion sides, you don't really know how they're going to play. It's usually long, win the seconds, make it an ugly game, make it a dirty game, get stuck into tackles. Well, this St. Louis side actually can play both ways. So they have the target number 9 with Klaus that they can play those long balls in. He's great at bringing it down. But then all of a sudden he makes magic. You forget he's Brazilian, you forget he's got smooth and silky feet, and then you forget that you have late running midfielders that create the overlaps, the underlaps, and it just seems players are coming from everywhere. They can also play out of the back from their center backs. They're confident enough to play out of the back. Obviously, Berkey being an experienced goalkeeper, he's got the distribution, whether it's from his hands, whether it's from his feet. So that's
Yeah, I
a
don't know what
dangerous
happened
tool
there.
as well, because in Major League Soccer, usually you don't have a goalkeeper that can do all of that, whether it's, you know, playing short balls out of the back, great long ball service as well, and then the abilities to throw, and then to have the communication. I mean, he's the complete package. For me, the St.
9,000?
Louis side,
James
I mean,
Bond,
the
finally.
recruiting department, I would love to meet them. I'd love
was
to be
talking
locked
about.
inside a room with them, because they've seemed to check every single box. And this team for me is going to be scary moving forward, I think. I think the confidence is just building. And we touched on, a lot of people were touching on depth with this side, but you're even starting to
Got
see
it.
depth with not experienced players in Major League Soccer stepping up and
go.
getting the job done and having a clean sheet against a San Jose side. So I think that's kind of telling you the story of the depth charts there. It's not the big name depth chart people that maybe you'd see the game-changing moments,
Do that.
but it's players that know their role and they know how St. Louis
Pause
want
the
to
llama
play.
gem.
I just want to nail down on that point,
Llama
'cause I think it's a
jam.
great point, Kaylin. And Lucas Bartlett is sort of, in this match, the shining example. But he's 6th overall pick in 2021 to Dallas, but he was not going to play
Upgrade
for
the
Dallas. He
shipping.
played in MLS Next Pro. They had him on trial until literally a week ago. Until 1 week ago, and they signed him to a contract. He starts and gets the first shutout in club history in the second ever game at home. It's incredible. Look
huge.
at their expansion draft. Like, when we did that draft, I walked away thinking, I don't know.
That's huge.
You know, like Drakini that's a good upside pick. Like Tim Parker in a trade
do
for
6.
assets, that's good. But we haven't seen
That's
the best of
huge.
him in Houston. Maybe we'll see the best of him now, but he's kind of getting
Now
up there a
we're
little bit in
going.
age. Indiana Vasiljev, can they even get him signed? You know, they had to
22,
figure that
I like
out.
that.
Period. John Nelson is like, yeah, that's a
17,
good,
right now,
that's a good pick,
30,
but is he a starter? Is he a backup? Where's he at on
22,
that?
30.
You look at their roster build, and they were very public about the
24.
fact that they weren't going to go spend huge amounts of money, but they were super
Let's
effective
get this
in
upgrade
the
if we
places
can.
where you just thought, well, that's kind of a wild card. Like, you know, I know Jared Stroud is a guy
wait,
that
that
Matt
won't give
Doyle's
us
like, he's
money,
so good,
though.
he's so good, but we hadn't seen it consistently, and he
so
hadn't
sick.
really played last year in Austin.
Oh, but
They
you'll
got
love that.
all these guys, Kyle Hebert out of MLS Next Pro, like Jake Nerwinski from Vancouver, Tom. Like, this
What
is
do we
why
got?
I get really
16.
passionate about internal MLS transfer market
30.
and movement, because there's a lot of
22.
talent that sometimes just is not in the right
30.
spot. And the
There it
more
is,
we
let's
can
get it.
get that talent in the right spot,
You
the
guys will
better
like this.
league we're going to have. By the way, if you're watching on Apple TV or YouTube, we just saw the next
Let's
generation
go.
of talent at the Kyle household coming around the corner.
We got our own laser door
Tom,
now.
this was a roster build that got some.
let's go.
It got some flack, and we focused on that like no designated player, designated team headline, and now we're getting that big foam middle finger.
Yeah, look, they did a numerous things really well. First of all, they made their
Running
first
back.
signing more than a year before their first game. They had 9 players signed by,
see,
I think, July or
8,000?
August. And not
you
only were they
upgrade
all
before?
signed, but they were all in market in St. Louis. They didn't loan them. And like, there's one argument where, well, yeah, like Klaus, Berkey, they're not playing first team football for a half a year or whatever, right? And they're just kind of training, but it worked out so well. And like I was speaking with Loven about this, that he's like, I'm so happy that I was here 6 months early. He's like, I needed this time to settle in. So they did that really well. Bradley Carnell was an awesome hire. He had the perfect blend of really high level MLS experience with the Red Bulls for 5 years, and he was the interim manager for a little while before Gerhard Struber came. And he's somebody who aligns with Lutz Van Steel in the gegenpressing and in their transition like that. From a man down, top down was the ideal and the vision and the goal, and everybody's aligned and bought in. So that helps with roster building because you know exactly what you're looking for. And another kind of nugget on Bradley Carnell. Remember when Chris Armas was an assistant with Manchester United under Ralph Rangnick? Carnell was in line for that as well, and he ended up turning it down and staying here, and that worked out brilliantly for him, and he's now doing really well at St. Louis. And like again, it just kind of shows where he was viewed at by, again, Ralph Rangnick is like the father of modern gegenpressing. He's somebody who's influenced Klopp and a bunch of other coaches, David Wagner. So like Bradley Carnell has been awesome, and that's why the structure has been here, and that's why you look at the lineup. And my last point here, like I said, Nelson, Bartlett, Stroud, Vaslav, Giacchini, Hebert, Nerwinski. Those are 7 players who weren't regulars at their clubs. These are 7 players that anybody could have had, and they all played really well for their first win and their first shutout.
And can I just say something picking off your point? Because I love that you touched on they got the players into market early. You don't realize how big of an advantage that is. And it almost seems like, why weren't other teams doing this before? Why don't other expansion teams even think of this?
Money is part of it. You have to pay MLS wages a half a season before you. So like St. Louis ownership deserves credit for that. Sorry, Caleb.
No. But it's a huge thing because you come to America. Obviously, it's a difficult place to come because the background checks, trying to get a car. It sounds so simple trying to move your family to a different country because you're thinking, yeah, we're going to America.
Very hard.
Tough to get a house because you don't have any credit score, don't have cars, you don't have cell phones, you don't have your, all your forms and everything, your social security. So I love that they did this. As a wife married to a footballer, that is the dream. Someone getting you there early so you're not stressed out through season and your husband's not stressed out through season. He can just literally focus on soccer.
So in the chat here,
Rant over.
It's a great point, and you've lived it. So none of us have. Right, they are living it. And
people have asked me over and over again, like, what's the comparison of this expansion team? And I've said Nashville because they did have a team, and they did sign players, and they did have a system, and they did have coherency, and that is.
St. Louis put a ton of money in the new stadium, academy, and training fields.
Pop up the year that you came in, and as Tom said, paid the money and
which
made that decision. That's all
located within walking distance,
convenient sort of
each other.
But you also had ownership that came in. That
I don't think the OG map is back yet. They said it was supposed to be released tonight.
All of those elements that were that this team was able to do, and Bradley Carnell seemed to comfortably sort of take the role of not being the coach of that team, but being there the whole time. And it was like the perfect thing that happened for them, and it has led to depth where expansion some MLS teams don't have, let alone expansion teams.
So the coach of that next pro team is John Hackworth, which goes back again to how you build a team, the people that you have around the team. John Hackworth understands better than most what it takes, and has an understanding of the environment and the connections and the scouting that needs to take place to get that depth.
That's the biggest bang for buck.
Anders is saying, quote, some amazing revisionist history going on here. I don't know what you're talking about, Anders. I've always thought that St. Louis City SC was going to be all caps very good, and I'm just basking in the glow of my successful predictions right now. But we do have David Goss on this show, and Dave, I see the storm clouds gathering. Gold. We just got out from under the Atlanta showers. Can you please come and rain on this parade?
Well, let me start with this. Let me not start with the raining, and let me say, for a team to come into
thundering,
league,
but the rain.
No, make it rain. Make it rain.
For a team to come into this league that has a club called New York City FC, owned by an organization called the City Football Group, that also own teams like Manchester City, men's and women's, Melbourne City, men's and women's, Mumbai City, to take City all caps as the moniker, to win it in 4 weeks, that might be the greatest thing St. Louis has done so far. So credit to them. The rain on the parade is.
I can't believe the Fire is so bad.
And I said last
week,
my man just
can't even talk about it.
The biggest key for this team is they play in the attacking half. Their mistakes don't hurt them. But
the Fire barely exists. The Fire barely. They are on the fringes. They're on the fringes. It's so awful where the Chicago Fire are at this moment. the desperation I am feeling from the club. I'm very concerned. I want people to be interested. I want people to be interested in what's going on with Chicago Fire. But reality of the situation is when they go to look, nothing they haven't seen before. More of the same. Becomes a little difficult to deal with and just talk about over and over and over again. So it's like, you know, it's like I'll tune out, I'll play other games, I'll deal with a better product. But you know, but the thing is, you guys are here, and I know you guys do enjoy a lot of this stuff too. So it's like I'm still very interested and want MLS to do well. So I do what I can to listen and maintain my interest, because it's so hard with the Fire right now. And hence, I'm more interested in what's going on with St. Louis. I'm more interested in what's going on with LAFC. But I am very interested, should the Chicago Fire come up with a big time signing, something surprising, something amazing. I'd be totally down. I'd be very, very enthusiastic for it. For any of those types of developments. But few and far between. Could upgrade that. 60. Doing good here. 40. 39. Upgrade this. Yeah, I wish that would upgrade that just a little bit, but it doesn't have any effect, and it doesn't have a trickle down effect. No siree. So don't.
Jamir Montero didn't start in this game. Carlos Grueso comes off hurt. Michael Baldissimo's first play was the lost tackle that led to the first goal. Klaus had a no-look pass go off a defender back to his foot for the second goal, and Tomas Ostruk scored a deflected goal in the third. So, again, St. Louis are doing some great things. But you're getting some fortunate moments as well to play against
Get
a
out of
team.
here with that.
It's
Get
against
out
a
of
team
here.
missing 2 starting center mids, and to be able to take advantage centrally.
St. Louis supporters just on Twitter, I would just at Empire Goss.
Yeah.
First of all, 2 S's on
all
Goss.
caps. All caps.
Correct. Second of all, that sounded like he's trying to push the Lucky narrative. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. That's it.
And we're talking. Goss, you pointed to.
What is
San
there
Jose
to
missing a
talk
couple
about for the
midfielders.
Fire?
St. Louis were without their top 3 center
What is
backs.
there to say that
Teams in
hasn't
this
been
league don't
said?
succeed. They don't get clean sheets
It's
when they're
so
missing
hard.
one
It's
center back, or 2 center. Like I don't know. I think that's the most impressive point is how many unheralded players or air quote
There's
depth
that
players that
CHGO show
contributed
to
this game. Like it's I don't know. Like
tuned in.
I don't know how many times like I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over. That like this
I don't want to
role
subject
players
myself to
or
that.
the lesser players they're put in more conducive environments to succeed when it's such a cohesive, when it's such a detailed structure and system that they all know. So it's easy to kind of just step right in.
There's no DPN team is what we're saying right now. Let's talk about when this might end. They're at RSL next. RSL had a bye week in match day 4, and then they're home against Minnesota. Then it's at Seattle. Then it's home against Cincinnati. At Seattle and Cincinnati is for sure like, hey, are you for real against the upper echelon? At RSL, home against Minnesota. Can they win? I mean, we're talking crazy now. Let's talk real crazy. Can they win both of those games and go 6 for 6? Is it possible, Kaylin? I see you making a face.
I think Real Salt Lake is going to be difficult because it's a difficult place to go and play. The altitude, it's very, very tough. Minnesota, no chance against Minnesota for obvious reasons. But no, look, they're riding a high, but 4 games undefeated, teams start to look at you a little bit differently. They start to scout you a little bit differently. They start to maybe go a little bit more in depth. So I think for this side, I think Real Salt Lake will be very difficult. Obviously at home, that plays a massive advantage against Minnesota's side.
Check this out,
a lot
chat.
of their players coming back from international breaks. 7 of them will be returning back for international break.
With St. Louis's style of play, they could end up having a very injured roster by the end of the year or even the middle of the year.
For that, so don't know if Adrian Heath will rest players or if they'll be fit enough to play, or if someone does pick up an injury on international duty. But I mean, anything is possible. But I do think the RSL game is going to be very difficult to pick up 3 points.
2 weeks to scout, by the way. I mean, they've been digging into these games, we'll have RSL. How about this? Ceiling and floor, Dave. What is the ceiling? What is the floor for this team?
St. Louis?
Yeah.
I mean, they're already 9 points above the playoff line in the West. So I think the floor is playoffs. Like, I would be surprised if this is a team with the depth they're showing and the cohesion they're showing and their the way they don't make mistakes, so they don't beat themselves, right? You look at the first 3 weeks of the season, you see a lot of teams self-inflicted wounds, going down 1-0, going down 2-1, going down in home games, dropping points because of self-inflicted issues that St. Louis doesn't make. I don't think you have a heavy roster of internationals in this team, which is something we're starting to talk about now as the international breaks come, where I think you're going to be consistent over and over and potentially can add them in the summer where you see holes that you need to. So I'd say the floor is 9th right now for St. Louis, and why wouldn't you say the ceiling is the top of the West if they're there right now?
Why wouldn't you, right? Yeah, you right here from the storm cloud himself. Top of the West.
I just call it how I see it. I got no opinion on the matter.
I know.
I don't hate.
I
There's
love
not
it.
a cheese in the world I dislike. Like, I'm open to everything.
Oh,
No,
boy.
stop. There's got to be one you hate.
No, I like. My doctor tells me I like.
I was gonna say cheese might hate you. Cheese hates you if we're gonna go that route. All right, we won't hit the Quakes too hard here. They were missing some players. I don't think this is some big overarching, sort of like indication of where their season is heading. They've shown really good signs early on.
And I will say, I think they'll be happy that they tried to play through the pressure. It was not the reason they gave up any of the goals, and they have a style that they are committing to.
All right,
If
let's move on.
Grueso's not out for a really long time.
Yeah, let's move on. Houston Dynamo hand Austin an L in a non-Copa Tejas Texas Derby match. If that makes any sense to you, the first 2 Texas Derbies don't count.
Who
to Copa
decided
Tejas.
that?
The supporters groups.
Okay,
they're the ones that
Copa
organize
Tejas
it. Yeah,
fan
because
base.
it all has to be. You need equal matchups to decide it on points. And because of the way the schedule works, you're not getting that. So it'd be 2 we'll call them bonus games within the Copa Tejas. So you have to eliminate those games. Unfortunately for Austin, they lose a game that got eliminated from Copa Tejas, of which they are the holders. But we are starting with the Houston Dynamo. Houston Arrow says, talk Dynamo to me. So, Tom, talk Dynamo. You had Hector Herrera. Give us more on the Houston Dynamo in this performance.
Yeah, it was a really big win. It showed like kind of what they're trying to build under Ben Olsen, and he even spoke about it in his post-game press conference. He's like, look, it was really important for us to get the first win. Like, coaches can say whatever they want, but he's like, you need to win. Obviously, it's a results-driven business. Amin Bassi scoring his first goal, a penalty. It's still on the board. That's big. Hector Herrera looked really good. I thought he looked really engaged again, like the way that he was leading, the way he was covering ground. He led the team in passes. He was only off the game leader in ground distance covered by like 0.2 of a mile, which again, like that's going to lend itself to central midfielders who play 90 minutes, but still, like, to see him all the way up at the top with Artur was the one who kind of led the game. Like, these are good little signs that you can point to as, okay, like, he really is engaged, he really is going around. It's a big win for Houston. I was really surprised to see Sebastian Ferreira not in the starting lineup. We have to monitor that and see if that was just kind of a tactical decision by Ben Olsen, or if maybe they think Corey Baird can give them something different to get both Bassi and Franco on the field together. So yeah, this was a really big win for Houston, and it's been a tough week and a half for Austin FC. I'll say that.
Very tough. Before we get to Austin, you reported that the Dynamo are finalizing a center back acquisition on TAM. Erik Sviatchenko from Midtjylland in Denmark, and it seems like MLS teams are going after basically the captains of Danish teams. You saw Andreas Maxu go to the Rapids as well. Walk me through this.
Yeah, so I was kind of pleasantly surprised to see that they were able to find a TAM signing in the budget. And I think that spending that at center back was smart for them. He's somebody, again, with Maxo in Colorado, the idea is that Sviatchenko can be the defensive anchor.
Right,
and somebody that makes it a little bit easier for teenage Hadave to play and kind of perform where he's not the one that's, looked at as the guy in defense. So he's got 5 caps with Denmark. He hasn't been in the for a while, but still 5 caps. He started all 6 Europa League group stage games as he played alongside Evander, who was leading the Europa League in assists before he went to Portland. So yeah, this player has a really strong profile of a kind of a key win now in prime type signing.
There we go.
Interesting to look at their passing map for the Dynamo in this game. Coco Carrasquilla is actually the
All right, let's turn this down because we're gonna need to be ready for some procs chat. Going on, everybody? What a blast. Playing some crazy FN, playing some nutso Fortnite. New Fortnite has been great. Here we go. Jester. Have you ever made a child cry with Prox chat? You certainly can. Don't want to. Proud moment. Time to go. Time to go. Time to go. Is that cool? That was wild. Oops. Time to skedaddle. for it. Fuck that one up. Just a second. Woo! We escaped. A win and some hot chocolate. With some whipped cream. Ooh. I'll take that. I'll take that. Little escape. Ooh. Don't know what that was, but hello. And looky, we caught Hooky. Drop off some loot. Drop off some loot. And boom, the loot is dropped off. As we increase the upgrades. Things you love to see. We'll slow there. Three stock. But you know what? I know that you unload you. Unload you. Yeah, look at you. You don't need it down there. Take those off. Free you up. Yeah, just take these upgrades out that we don't need. They have one heavy chest armor. Anything else light. That's cool. Oh, that's really cool. I don't think we need to walk in with a headgear. I always go in without anything. A little ballsy, but... Smoke grenade? Heals. Love that. Any other weapons I could deprive of upgrades? No, good enough. I only have one sniper rifle. It's the only one I've ever seen. Upgrade it though. Look at that. Look at that bad boy. Who dare go in with a gun? Let's do it. We'll go with the gun. We'll go in with a little bit of a raid. How about that? Small backpack. 2 bandages. Toss a helmet on. Toss a little light shield on. I think we're ready. All right. Got a little bit of armor. You know what though? I don't want that. I would rather have a pistol. Feel better with that pistol. Really want to go in with or without upgrades? Well, we'll go for it. Got what I need. Hello? How's it going? Pretty good. How about you? Doing all right. Run for it. Hello. Hello, friend. I see you. Hi. How you doing? Oh, I got two of you. Hi, buddies. What's going on? Want to team up? Team up? Let's go. What's going on, brothers? Green shirt.
I don't know where that other dude went.
He went this way. He got in a firefight. I don't know what you want to do.
You can grab the shit in here.
I'm good on that. I got a rifle. Let's go. Heading left. Fitting here. Oh, we're getting shot at. I feel like we're getting shot at. On the ledge. Gotta go up. Going up. Heads up. Shots behind me. Get him.
He's dead.
Nice. Let's go get it. GG. Oh, that's it.
He's all the way down the hallway to the left.
Nice.
Coming back, man?
What was that?
Nah, somebody ran past us. I don't know if he's coming back or... Oh, he's in the healing station.
Over here. I got him. Oh, Chavez! Alright, gotta go. Might run into them again. Take this pipe. Okay, we're going. All right, we gotta go. Up the steps. And up. Up, away we go. The one who would be king. Oh, they could. Oh. Oh shit. A minute before I have to go here, so. Anything. Oh shit, nope. I'm dying. Gonna die. Gonna die. Woo. Not gonna die. Not today. Oh, hello there. Nothing. Nothing. I brought back a gun for all that. Great. Oh, right, chap. Let me check in a few things here. I think it's getting near that time. So we'll continue with extra time.
The furthest player forward, but you see a really tight triangle there with Baird and Hector Herrera and Bassi kind of in that left channel. So we'll see what lasts for them as far as the attacking side goes. They've really prioritized possession this year, and Austin had some spells, but we've seen Houston take a step forward with this result, and Austin took a step back, and Josh Wolf said it afterwards. You've got 7 shots in this match, and I was surprised to see him come out and call out basically every attacker not named Sebastian Driussi. Like, I understand that going on behind the scenes, but he is making a point, and he went after Diego Fugu.
Connor saying that we got to get a round table once a week going. Got some great soccer opinions on here. That'd be an interesting idea, though. Get an MLS roundtable chat somehow once a week. We all bring a little different things to the table. I want to try this one. Oh, let me click that. You guys can see what I'm seeing. How about? Ooh, getting hot. Fortnite off the hook. Where am I? This is cool. Key. Use key. Almost gives you gives me the vibes of oh, wait, am I in first person, guys? Guys, we're in first person. We're in first person mode. Oh. Oh. It goes down. Do not know what's happening. The Fortnite, right? Door's locked. Maintenance. Door here. Where is it? You fix pipe. Okay, so we did something. Now what? Open hatch. That pipe's missing. Take a pipe. Install that pipe. Now we're doing engineering. We've done it. Back right up. Turn you on. Okay. What is this? Locks the security door. We unlocked it. Do I know what's happening? No. But it's wild. The Space Odyssey? I don't know. But that was it. That was the thing. All right. I think we hit all of them. I think we hit all of them. Amazing. All right, so we'll go back to Battle Royale. Still no update for the OG map of Fortnite. Seems to be some sort of issue. I'm not seeing any of squads. Those squads. MLS Roundtable will be very interesting between a couple different fans from the Midwest. We could call it like Midwest Soccer Talk. Something of the like. That damn yellow and red podcast. Something like that. I think we'll finish this extra time.
Does with a little bit of length there, basically saying we need more. Last year. He got a new contract. We need him to be a game changer week to week, and there's just no doubt that is true. He went after Ragoni as well, who had a couple moments in this game but didn't convert. Like, that's been the conversation for a long time there. He said it about Giassi Zardes, who got benched in this one for Maxi Arruti, and understandably so. Giassi had no shots on goal through 4 games. Anybody have any thoughts on where Austin is at right now? Is it super concerning? I mean, Dylan Biles hit us up and said how much of what Austin is experiencing is the echo effects of Gabrielson leaving and then Cascante going down. versus there being something more problematic embedded in the system Wolf is trying to play. It is pretty clear that they need Owen Wolf on the field. So I'm starting to understand why he was the one who started over the former captain in Alex Ring, who now they need at center back. Like, is it a cascading issue or is it something bigger? What do we think? Anybody have deep thoughts?
Kaylin's struggling because I know she was high on Austin.
I was high on Austin. I put them second.
I like, obviously, because the other guys took the other teams, LAFC, Seattle Sounders. So I did Austin being top of the Western Conference. I mean, I'm really, really disappointed. And, I was really hard on Wolf getting the start in this side, and obviously Ring finding himself on the bench, and then the center back injury. So then he starts. But for me, if you're willing, and again, he deserves to play now. He scored his goal. He's looked good. But that does have a rippling effect within a club. I mean, sitting your captain that has never really done wrong for the club, wasn't playing bad football, and then putting him in a center back role, you can't be happy with that. Do you know what I mean? Yes, you're still on the pitch now, but you're on the pitch because of an injury. I don't know. And then going after players in the public, like as a player, I get it. You need to have a little bit of bark, but this team's down at the moment. They also need a little bit of nurturing as well. Especially obviously getting knocked out of CONCACAF Champions League. That one was like a head scratcher for everyone because they should not be knocked out of the CONCACAF Champions League. Let's just be completely honest. They have too much talent on this team. I think right now it feels probably chaotic. It probably feels chaotic at training, not making sense. Players are frustrated. Players are frustrated in one another, maybe in the managerial side of who he's selecting, who he's dropping. But I feel like this team will come together. I feel like they do have the players on the team where they're like, hey, we got to get back on track. We got to get back on winning ways. But it's going to come down to someone like a Ring that steps up with the leadership and saying, guys, this isn't good enough. Like, the manager can say all they want, but at the end of the day, it comes down to the players' performance on the pitch.
I'm really worried about them just because they're too soft in central defense. Like, again, you go back to the first leg in CCL, like it's just too easy to play. Look where
that was Nick Lima and Amaral Tariq.
Yeah, but if Alex Ring is playing center back, that's an issue. Like, they moved him from 6 to 8 last year, and that was like one of the key reasons as to why their defense got. Obviously, Gabrielson was really, really good, but one of the bigger wrinkles was Danny Pereira coming into the team and playing more as a number 6 than a box-to-box midfielder, so Ring could go do more stuff. Now Ring is playing as a center back. Like, that's a failure of a roster build right now. Like, I'm not sure that's going to get better, and they're going to score goals, sure, but you cannot consistently pick up points. You can't pick up enough points without a better defense, without a better structure to be top 3 or top 4 in the West. So I'm really worried about this team. If Isonen looks better and he can be somebody that can do 85%, 90% of Gabrielson, that'll be key. But right now, like, I think that there's too many question marks in central defense, or kind of again through that defensive spine.
I think it's clear that the depth is the issue, right? Like, yeah, they have big issues with depth.
Do they though?
Johan Valencia?
Yeah, I don't know that they do.
I don't think they do. Not at all. No chance.
Alex Ring is playing center back. That is an indictment of where that they are in the roster.
That's due to injury, though, I will say. But
one injury. It was one injury.
Look at compared to other Major League Soccer teams, I wouldn't say Austin is short on depth. If you're doing
how about this? Compared to other teams,
it's also got one injury, by the way.
Amaral
Tariq is also out.
Yeah, it's Kip Keller wasn't even in the 18. Wasn't even in the 18.
If you're leaning on Amaral Tariq to be a 20 game starting, then that's an indictment of your depth, and that's an indictment of the roster. Like Johan Valencia, I thought he was going to be really good. He has not been good. That was a $2 million signing. Like Rigoni, we've all kind of taken shots at him. He's not been good at like Rodney Reddish does not look like an MLS player. Those are supposed to be depth.
The center back ones are. I agree with you that the likes of Rigoni, maybe even Valencia, given the number on him, is not depth, but center back is. Like, the center back depth was poor last year, and they got by because nobody got hurt. This year, the replacements weren't good. And maybe you're right, Dave. Maybe that's not about quote-unquote depth. It's about the decisions, but the decisions is then reflected in the lack of depth.
Who is the 4th center back on Seattle? Who is the 3rd center back on Dallas? Who is the 3rd center back on Minnesota?
Jose Martinez is probably the 3rd center back on Dallas, and he's a TAM signing.
Jose Martinez is not the 3rd center back. He's the 2nd.
Ibiaga is. Ibiaga is. Ibiaga is. He just won MLS Cup.
Ibiaga's the guy who passed it back in the first game against Minnesota.
Okay, but he just won MLS Cup.
And then they lost 1-0 at home because he started.
Kellen Acosta's not having to play center back, Dave. That's the point.
Yeah.
Okay, so one, I actually don't think this whole thing with Ring is bad because Owen Wolf gives them more, essentially.
I agree with that.
I think it's bad mentally and how the situation was maybe potentially handled.
For his career, it's not great, but for the team, I don't think
that whole time.
I don't think it's that much worse. But I will say, I thought Austin would regress in the season because I thought they maxed out what they could do. The key for them is to show they could win in knockout competitions. Thought they did it in the playoffs last year. So to come back and lose in CCL is so much bigger for them because I don't think it was about Supporter Shield this year. I think it was about legitimately being a Leagues Cup and MLS Cup contender.
All right, we got a halftime break here. We've got some issues with Dave's connection and the level of fire. It's just we got to take a break. We'll be right back. All right, we're back, and Kaylin, that was a little bit like being at a friend's house, and all of a sudden your friend and their family starts fighting. You're like, am I supposed to be here? Do I leave?
I thrive in those situations, Andrew. I was literally just stirring the pot.
Hey, you know what? So does CF Montreal. Those are their favorite situations too, and they win 3-2 at the Big O over the Philadelphia Union. One of 4 teams, including the Dynamo, to get their first win of 2023. We're going to rattle through some of these, but first we got to explain sort of what happened if you were watching stoppage time from about the 89th minute to the 99th minute of this match, because in the 89th minute, Philadelphia Union were up 2-1 and sort of cruising even down a man, thinking, we're about to close this thing off, get a nice 3 points on the road, and they lose 3-2. Afterwards, Montreal head coach Hernan Losada said, the game tonight is hard to explain, but the best answer is that this is soccer. Which, that doesn't sound like an answer, Hernan, but I'll take it at face value. Jim Curtin said it slightly differently, which was the word blank show comes to mind. Just want to save Anders the bleep here and the work on the edit, but I think you understand what kind of show Jim was talking about. So here's what happened. 2-1 Philly in the 89th minute. Montreal starts pushing. Cross comes in. Header goes off the crossbar. Chinoso 4 scores.
I'm going to stop for a gun.
Montreal celebrates. Yeah. Then it goes to goals given. So just that's established. The goal is given. Montreal goes, the VAR, Daniel Radford, flags it. The referee goes to the monitor, calls the goal off for offside. And when you're watching it, you're only seeing really the broadcast angles. It's like, I did instant replay and I was like, oh yeah. And the night of as well, I was like, oh yeah, offside for sure. Because you can only see a limited part of the field. Well, the goal's called off, and Hernan Losada's like, time out, guys. What's going on? He's going crazy. Victor Wanyama had a quote on this one that says he went over to the Montreal bench and watched the replay and then went back to the referee and complained to the fourth official, said, you got to communicate with the video assistant referee up there and get this one right because you guys are wrong. Because Kai Wagner, who had chased down the crosser, is clearly keeping the entire thing onside. We get a double video review. The VAR flags the referee back. Goal stands after being taken off. And here we are. And then, by the way, Romelu Kyoto scores a game winner in the 98th. Dave, this is just, it is like Montreal at the Big O. It's pure energy, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's the long ball to Cam Porter from Callum Malice all over again. It was ridiculous. I mean, I guess it's a good thing that the refs got it right eventually. That's the point of VAR. I think you'd prefer to not have to review your own VAR to get it right. You'd want to just do it once. But at least they end up with the correct call, which is that Kai Wagner's holding him on. The comedic part of the whole thing is Kai Wagner is the most upset about the call. He's like, he's yelling at the ref before they overturn it. Then he's yelling at the ref again after. Then at the end of the game, he was the one who had to be restrained because I think he thought there was a foul on 04 on the goal when it was scored, or he committed a foul in the end. But
on the 04 one or the Romelu Kyoto one? Because Kyoto just
so he goes up to the ref when Hernan Losada is getting the yellow card after the 04 goal and is doing this and yelling at the ref, saying there was an arm. So I don't know where he thought that arm was. And then, they all had complaints about the Romelu Kyoto goal. But we said it, I think, last week. Montreal hadn't played home yet. There's a home-heavy league. That's Major League Soccer. So you couldn't worry about them yet. I actually liked some of what Hernan Losada did in this game. I liked Saliba and Zuhir next to Wanyama. They both cover more ground, and rather than forcing one to be a 10 and one to be a 6, you let them both play both roles. And I thought it helped them a lot. Mason Toy gave them some life up top because now you don't need numbers all the time in the attack. Him and Kyoto can attack by themselves, hold up for a little bit, get Lapalainen up the right side, which leads to the first goal. And anytime Matthew Chouanier is on the field, I'm happy. because that guy has to be on the field. Give me some. So I thought they showed commitment to all of that. I thought they battled with Philly as much as you can, and like they probably fed into Philly's style too much. But Losada wants the same thing. He wants open games. He wants direct games. They're gonna have to live with stuff like this. So for them to get the emotional 3 points and get Kyoto sticking their fingers in the air, it's a positive day.
I agree with you. And also I think the red car with Julian Carranza was a momentum shift because it allowed Montreal to like mentally be like, okay, 69th minute, 20 minutes to go. We can definitely do this. And they looked a little bit more attacking than we've seen in other games. They were living in the final third. Was it pretty at times? No, but at least they were getting the ball into wide areas. And like you alluded to with having Mason Toye up top, I thought it completely changed how Montreal has been playing. They didn't really have an identity. I know they've lost a lot of players, but he's got to start for me. He's got to start for me in the side. And to be able to do it, you touch on going home. They're not even actually at home yet. Like, they're playing the Olympic Stadium because obviously the weather conditions, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, at their actual stadium. Obviously, I played in that Olympic Stadium. The turf is not the best. I think they've changed it out since then. This
one was really brand new. This was the first game on the new one.
Oh, okay, amazing, because it had to be. Like, it was terrible.
It went from cement to carpet over the last
it went from like you have no knees, no Achilles, no shins to amazing. So yeah, hats off to Montreal, and it's great. They needed it. They needed this as a confidence booster because I think everyone, me included, have been really critical on them. So as a player, when you're always hearing the critical side of things, to have a result like that in the fashion that they did, that's going to help build into the next game.
Pretty incredible passing map for them, by the way. It's like a two-pronged trident. On one side is basically the entire team, from Kyoto to Toy to Saliba, Chouanier, and then on the other side it's just Lassie Lapolainen all by himself.
Gotta grab bad news.
Like, all right, Lassie, get up there, whip it in. We're going to the back post. That's how they got 2 goals. So well done. Rita Zuhir is our 22 under 22 player of the weekend as well. Here's a quick question for you, Tom. Ryan Landis said, we celebrated the Union keeping their starting 11 intact from last year, but have other teams taken big enough steps forward where being good as last year won't cut it this year? Or is this just CONCACAF Champions League and a crazy moment that shouldn't have happened?
Correct. If Julian Carranza doesn't get sent off, I'm very confident that they easily sit on that lead and take 3 points. They just kind of blew out Alianza. Like, I don't know. I have zero worries about this team. Like, I think that they've gotten better because of all the depth that they had. Yeah, again, this would have been a great time for the depth to come through with 3 points, but again, a red card changes the game. I don't know. This is still clearly the best team in the East for me, and it's going to take a lot to shake my belief of that.
Just know every depth comment is directed at you, Dave.
Yeah. Who was Philly's third center back last year?
That's fair.
Brandon Craig.
Stuart Finley.
That's fair.
Oxford United, Stuart Finley.
Yeah, that's the pride of Oxford United.
No, but Weeby knows how an MLS roster should be built. So
exactly.
I'm
glad you've acknowledged that. Put that straight,
depth and talent across
straight into the intro there.
And hold on,
kind cut.
Weeby, I think Goss is making our point because they went out and traded for Damian Lowe because they were like, we really need a third center back.
Totally agree, Connor.
They're planned for this.
We can't
You think this
really.
Balogun thing is gonna happen? Yes, I do.
Yes, I'm third
I
center
think it's
back.
that big of a
absolutely.
deal.
Orlando 1, Charlotte 2.
Would Balogun have made it even to World Cup? Would he have been our striker? Would he have been our clear out and out striker? Maybe. Thank you. Powerful dodger, incredible. Gotta keep Sky High alive. Incredible work there, Sky High. Incredible run, Sky High. Oh no, Vegeta. But we're missing Sky High. Oh, well, I guess we'll go get bad news in Sky High right after this. We'll fly. Grab a car. Gotta get their shit. Gotta get their stuff. Fuck. Nice.
And Swiderski and Joswiak go to the bench. Capetti and Kerwin Vargas score, and Charlotte gets their first win, Dave.
What's up, Axe?
There's two parts to this. The Joswiak Swiderski.
We're ignoring the Chicago Fire. I mean, it's hard. We've been talking about it with DPG. We've had Toke. We've had Connor. We've been enjoying a little bit of MLS, and man, it's just been difficult to be a Fire fan, and I think it's going to be only more difficult. It's going to kind of be very trepidatious goings here. I mean, even for us hardcores,
is one side, which
it's just becoming a little bit too much. It feels like we're signing up for the same thing over and over again. We're only in game 3, and it's like, well, I saw this season. I already saw this season of Friends. This entire, it's like they're playing a whole another same season of the same show. Well, you guys got balls. He's going for it. Maya is going for it. It's incredible. Incredible. Look at this play. This is the team. This is the team. Let's go. This is the team. Let's go. Multiple options. Not on me to decide. The worst part is the rest of MLS is exciting. That's the thing. It's like that's what's the worst part, actually, Toke. I've been trying to figure out what is the worst part. It's like, we're Chicago. We got the Blackhawks. We got the Bulls. We got the Bears suck, but we got the Blackhawks. We got the Bulls, who gave us great years with Michael Jordan. Blackhawks gave us great cups. Even the White Sox and the Cubs managed to give us something to root for. It's just, while you see St. Louis, FC Cincinnati, Minnesota all have incredible, great success, it's just, while we get treated like we know we will, like we know this is coming, it's just nuts. It all goes back to the Jones deal, even and Drogba deals and beyond. It's just absolute tragedy. Take the slap juice. Take that. Let's go, team.
Get those hands up. Party Royale.
I feel you. Yeah, it's depressing. Chicago teams are depressing. The Bears are on top of the list. Doesn't it seem like it? Bears are definitely on top of the depressing list. But the Chicago Fire are right up there, and to me, they're far worse. Well, they're worse. They're self-immolating. They're being consumed by themselves. It just doesn't. I don't see a way out of this. Where I see the successes of St. Louis, you see the successes of Charlotte, Atlanta, and you just don't feel like that is in any way possible here in Chicago. I don't see a way that it's possible. Choke saying that another problem is that we are just not lovable losers, more like apathetic failures, which, oh, I'll take a little sword. Take a little sword. Woo. We left it behind. Wait, I thought the Bears were doing smart stuff. They are. The Bears are seemingly doing good, smart stuff. I mean, they've made some great signings. They look good. It's just... Where are we getting shot from? Take it. Well, there's not a bad guy behind me. Can I heal? I can heal. Healing. That's the thing. The Fire are not lovable losers. It is not enjoyable to watch. It's miserable to watch right now. It's just miserable. I have no long-range weapon. I have a key? Maya does. Okay, I got a long-range weapon now. Couldn't tell where that was coming from. Careful. Shots fired over here. Fuck. Yeah, I don't want that. Now, my guys. There's Maya. Let's creep back to our boys over here. Wait, I'm going the wrong way. See ya. Mm-hmm. 5 people left. Goodbye, Maya. What are we gonna do here? Fire need to bring in talent from Mexico and someone like Modric and Lewandowski. Without a doubt. Shit. Our whole team got separated. No! I can't take any more Eastern European ball acts. Like, what do you do to this team? Like, a full-blown reset doesn't do it. You need to keep some of the parts that are here. You have to replace it. Chicago have always just been... How do you sell a team? How... It takes a certain type of player to want to come to Chicago, to want to come to MLS. Actually, I'd buy tickets to go see a Benzema come to the Fire, but that's the dream. Never gonna happen. And with Roberto Firmino sniffing around St. Louis, once again, Chicago just bypassed. It just seems to always happen, and it's become no surprise. It doesn't make sense, though, because Chicago's such a premier city. And how they're not able to sell that over the likes of Cincinnati, over the likes of Ohio, any club in Ohio, well, Florida's got some nice stuff, you know, no income tax. Nashville's got no income tax. I mean, so there are nice things about those places too. San Jose, that's out in California. I mean, so all these places have, you know, nice things to offer. But what, you know, what is St. Louis or Kansas City or Minnesota? What does Toronto have that we don't have? I mean, they got stuff that we don't have, including recent MLS Cups and success. And a very good player in Insigne. Yeah, but you need to appeal to the people in Chicago that watch soccer. Like the Polish and Latino communities. I totally agree. We've been saying this for years, that you need to bring in a good Polish player, and you have to have a Mexican national team star. You bring in Lewandowski, that solves a lot of problems. A lot. I don't think that the Chicago Fire have the pool to bring in Lewandowski, but they brought in Schweinsteiger. That somehow happened. They brought in Shaqiri somehow. That's still a great signing. Shaqiri's a good signing, but I worry that we've peaked. I worry that Chicago Fire have peaked. I mean, we're signing Shaqiri's and Bastian Schweinsteigers. Meanwhile, Columbus is signing young players that are exciting. Cucho Hernandez. LAFC signed Carlos Vela. Toronto is signing Insigne. Atlanta signs Thiago Almada, who's super good and going to be not even going to stay in this league for long. What do the Chicago Fire have? Well, we had John Duran and Gagaslina. Well, that was last year, and even when they were here, we had 11th place. We didn't have a winning. Nobody came out and saw them, which is unfortunate. Really appreciate you guys kicking it here. watching live or after the fact, kick that like button for a little spit and fire. Greatly appreciate you guys taking the moment to do that. Burns my fire brighter. And always appreciate all you guys hitting that bell icon to get notified of our live stream. So when we're live, you guys know this Kitty Ojo, let's go. Oh man, oh man. Have they released the OG map yet? That's all I want. Can I see the map? No, I want to see the map. So it's a problem that Chicago had to have been dealing with the past few years, and I don't think they've been dealing with it all that too well, because I am a fan of Chicago Fire. I am looking for any little reason to celebrate this club, any little reason to get more eyes on this club, and it's just harder. It's harder to put my eyes on this club. It's harder to justify me saying, oh, I'm putting my eyes on this club. Come along with me. Like, you see what this guy's watching? Jesus. The Fire? Does he know he could watch Real Madrid? Does he know he could watch Liga MX? Does he know he can watch LAFC, a better MLS teams? Yes, I do. And that's made watching Chicago Fire very, very hard. It's our team. We want to support it. We want our local club to do good. But at a certain point, you don't need that misery. You don't need that unhappiness. So it's like, so I will watch the NCAA tournament and get some joy out of this. Axane, got to give them credit for bringing in Alonso Aceves, but he isn't that well known. You got to give them credit. We were talking about that earlier. Brian Sandolau saying that he thinks that Aceves and Jonathan Dean are going to supplant both current outside starting backs. Look at that. That's really cool. Look at that. That is really cool. Oh, that is so cool. And we're here. Reward from the shadowy realm. Yes, thank you. Finally, I want to go to Mega City. I've been wanting to go. Definitely got to give him credit, but this is the other thing. It's like Heights is, Heights has all these hits and misses, and he's having misses in some of the most important positions for MLS, which is the DP. In football, it's the quarterback, right? But in MLS, you have to hit on your DPs. You got to at least hit on one of them, if not all three. Gotta really put that to use. Brilliant, boys. Go with Looney. What the fuck? What the fuck was that? Need a gun. I need a gun. Oh, that gives me the fucking anxiety. Need a gun. Needing a gun. Got one. Three of them. They look like cats. We will continue to spectate and chat as we close down the stream, everybody, thank you for spending the time here on Spitfire, talking a little soccer with us, talking a little MLS, lamenting the state of the Chicago Fire. Man, oh man, it's just gotten to that point where it's just like, why do I want to turn that and mill that gross rotten seed? So it's like you take the rotten seed out, put in a couple good seeds, and then you check back in next season, and maybe they've earned it, because guess what? That's what everybody else has done. That's what every other single Fire fan has already done before us. They care about the Fire too, but they see what we saw. And they saw what we saw years ago, and they couldn't take it anymore. It's going to get to a point where we might not be able to take it. I'm pretty much there. I'm not a season ticket holder. I barely watch the games. I've watched 1 out of 3 games this season. I checked in on the Cincinnati game. I checked in. I was like, oh, we're losing. Oh, we're winning. And then I was like, okay, I'm good. And then I checked back in later, and we tied 3-2. It's just, I didn't even want to watch. I had better things to do. Walking the dog. Good exercise for me and the fam. It hurts to say, but that's what we've reached. If this was Barcelona, if this was Real Madrid, if this was LAFC, if this was Seattle, if this was Philadelphia, if this was a product deserving of my attention, then you guys could lambaste me for being like, oh, fuck this. I totally get it. I totally get it. But this is hard to justify, guys. Back saying that the sad thing is when I was watching that St. Louis game, the play was faster. If you compare it to the Fire game, the St. Louis game looks like it was on 2 times speed versus the Fire game. The Fire play slow. The Fire are not that fun to watch. But you know what was fun to watch? Kasper Przybyłko wrapping his foot right around that ball. That was a joy. There's parts that were great, but then you didn't even know it was coming. I didn't think it was coming. I was like, oh, finally, they're going to get a win at home. They're at home. Got it wrapped up. But no, Pirates tweeted this out. The word is out on the Chicago Fire that if you're down at halftime, you can come back. You have a really good chance to come back on the Chicago Fire. And that, my friends, is a crying shame. Crying shame that the Chicago Fire are that easy to beat at home, that easy to beat away. And the other big thing is that as we all read about these, they have to be picking up points at home. Full points at home. You wins at home and ties on the road. That's the goal. That's how you make the playoffs. So far, 2 ties and a loss. That is not how you make the playoffs. Albeit they've only played 3 games. But the way they're going about doing it, chat, doesn't look like it's going to happen. It's going to take a miracle. However, we're early in the season. There are things to look forward to, like the fact that we're only 0-2-1. We have not reached the 10-game mark. By then, we'll know a lot more about this team. But man, oh man, we've been here before. We already know what we're looking at. And if we're looking at that 5-6 games from now, who's gonna be here, guys? Who's gonna be here? I don't know how you guys are here watching, talking Chicago Fire with me. I don't know how I am. It's not justified. And when it's not justified, man, we'll find something else that is. Unfortunate. It's sad. The state of our Chicago Fire is not a good place. And frankly, I don't see how it changes. I just don't see them making the decisions or being able to make the decisions to be able to sign the types of players that would get them out of this type of hole. Is the hole, guys? Boy, oh boy, the hole is significant. Robert Barrich. That's how fucking deep this hole is. It's just no bueno. Chat, about 10. Well, it is past 10. Greatly appreciate you guys hanging out, watching a little soccer, talking a little soccer with me, chatting, bantering, kicking it, keeping me going, keeping me motivated, keeping me on my toes, and also providing a lot of some fun stuff to talk about. Greatly appreciate it. I appreciate spending some time with you guys. I'll catch you guys on the next stream, live Wednesday, as per usual. Fire it up, footballers. Thank you guys all for watching live or after the fact. Let's go. Smash those emojis. Let me know in the comments what you want to see next time. Is a little Fortnite? Maybe we switch it up to a little something a little different. I got some ideas for you guys. If you guys want to pepper with some ideas, pepper away. Greatly appreciate it. Love to read your guys' comments. Also, I mean, like, if there's other stuff besides gaming, like if there's some sort of topic you guys want me to rip up, let's go. Let me know. Like the bear halter Reyna saga still going. I saw somebody tweet out a video of this the other day, and I was like, that's still happening? I'm like, I thought we already moved on, and we're just like, oh, fuck this. Nobody cares, or well, we care, but it's so brutal. It's just so brutal. It's like, we don't want to dwell on it. Can we move on to something else so we can move on to happier times? Can we just get a new coach? Oh, look, we have a new coach, Hudson. So we're concentrating on Florian Balogun. Would he have even started? Would he have even started for the World Cup US team? I don't know. Toke saying, Axe saying, have a good night. Thank you, Axe. Appreciate you stopping by, man. Toke saying, Fire Striker are turning into Bears QBs. Dude, well, I mean, hopefully not. I really hope not. I really do not want Justin Fields to be a bad Bears QB. I want him to be the exception to the rule. What's up, J2 Valid? Appreciate you stopping by. We were just about shutting down the stream. We've been playing a lot of Fortnite and a lot of Deadrop here. It's been a blast talking a little bit of MLS, talking some soccer, and really how the Fire, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. It's unfortunate, but we want them to do better. We need them to do better. And the question was always was also asked, was like, who was doing the best of the three? Was that owner? Was that GM? Or was it that coach? And most fans say the owner's doing the best job. Does that mean we got to fire the coach? Does that mean we got to fire the GM? Give him another chance at well, of course the owner's going to get another chance at the apple cart. But hopefully he gets it right this time. And unfortunately, he was not able to get Garth Lagerwey, which would have been a huge get. I don't know who you get. I would love to see a former Fire player return. Maybe somebody from LA Galaxy or LAFC. There's people out there that are now executives that used to be for the Fire. I would love to get them here. Love to get Georg Heitz out. I'd love to get a coach in like Jesse Marsh, who is available. You could fire Ezra Hendrickson, move on from him, and go after Jesse Marsh right now. If it mattered, if there was promotion relegation on the line, you do that. But there is no promotion relegation on the line. Some fans have said that. And in fact, Jesse Marsh has said that. He says he wants to see promotion relegation brought to MLS. Just the pressure just would make the players better. And I agree. I don't know if it's coming anytime soon, guys. Do you think promotion comes anytime soon for MLS? I don't think so. We'll have World Cup before we have promotion relegation. All right, chat. I think that's going to be all for me. Greatly appreciate you guys hanging out. I'll catch you guys in the next stream. Fire it up, Footballers Live every Wednesday. As per usual, hit that bell icon, hit that like button, let other people know. Comment. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out. Fire it up. Let's go. Yeah. And bye.